Hey, Vic, I noticed that that you're not wearing a customized level 8.7 that they made.
It was great to see you guys.
Just for me. Did you get one?
So take it easy, everyone.
Level 857 Video Game Podcast.
Ah, yes. Whether it's a beer, a shot, or even a glass of wine, grab your favorite beverage and welcome to the Level 857 Video Game Podcast. We are your host, Alg857.
The 23rd Stallion, Stikz,
Turbo 857.
and your boy BigChoco.
And we have two very special guests on the podcast in the house tonight.
Wait, what'd you say? You said two?
Yeah.
Two at a time.
Two very special guests in the house tonight. We have the producer and host of Electric Playground, the longest running program in the world for gaming and geek news, commentary, and reviews, here with his ex-former partner in crime, ex-co-host of Electric Playground, notably Reviews on the Run, who also happens to be the CEO and president of the Intellivision Entertainment.
Amico.
Yeah.
It's a long, a lot of stuff.
Yes.
A lot of stuff.
You memorized all that?
Together for the first time being interviewed on a show in probably about 15 years, I'm guessing. Please welcome the living legends, Tommy, Tallarico, and Victor Lou.
Okay, bro.
All right, look at that intro. Look at that intro right there.
That was good.
How's that for an intro, Vic?
That is, I feel very old.
Now,
Welcome.
are we live now?
We are
guys?
live, man. We are
I'm
live.
looking for the link.
Finally, right?
I saw us. Yeah, I saw
Yeah, we
us.
are
I think
live.
we're live, right? Yeah.
Live.
There we-
There it is.
Yeah,
We're live
there it
now.
is.
There it is.
Yes.
Hey, there's me.
Cool.
Hi.
Wow.
There it is.
Technology's amazing.
All right.
Absolutely.
Are you guys going to be able to live stream right out of the Intellivision Amico? Is that
No.
something you're working on? No. Okay. I guess it's a couch co-op console, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we are. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Awesome,
Chad is
yeah.
coming up in here. All right.
Yes.
Awesome. Welcome,
So how you
everybody,
guys
to the
doing?
chat.
Great. Fantastic.
Great.
I just
Yeah.
Hey Vic, I noticed that that you're not wearing a customized level 8.7 that they
yeah.
made
It was great
They
to see you
made
guys.
just for me. Did you get one?
So take it easy, everyone.
Clearly, they like me better. I had the shirt.
I think what it is mail's not coming from the U.S. to Canada right now.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly
That's
what
what
it
had
is.
happened.
Yep.
Now, hold on there. Speaking of shirts, I'm looking at.
Oh,
I'm loving all of the Amico
Oh,
shirts.
yes,
You got
yes,
Big
yes.
Chocolate there on the right, but I'm seeing fake Drake.
hey, buddy. I got it right here, man.
I
got it right
Drake. I see Tetris. What's this Tetris?
It's my
Is
game,
this
man.
an
It's my
announcement?
game.
Is Tetris coming to the Amico, or was this part of the reveal?
I hope so.
Okay, there.
It's on every platform. If it's not on Intellivision Amico, something has gone wrong. It's got to be there.
Right? Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
That's too funny. That's too funny.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you guys on.
Hell yeah.
We usually start with like games we're playing, but we changed up the whole format today because
Yes.
we got something special.
Yes.
Yes.
So what are we
Very
doing
nice.
today, guys?
We're going to start off by talking about the different presentations of the different companies.
So 2020 has been a rough year, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
Things have been a
Yeah.
little different this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So we want to get some reviews from you guys, Judgment Day Fashion and Reviews on the Run. We want to get some reviews on what's been
Can
going
we do
on.
this though? Tommy's the president of a console company. what
Slight
can you
bias.
say?
Oh, did we tell you this is
Everybody
uncut?
sucks.
This
and
is-
I buy the Intellivision. What can you say?
No.
This is all uncut, y'all. So
Yes.
you can say
Unbiased,
what-
unbiased.
unbiased, uncut, unfiltered. Say whatever you want.
I think you've been fired today, then, Tommy. You're going to be unbiased, so you can't you can't just pump up the intellivision. No, but I am curious, actually. What did you think of what PlayStation 5 showed off and Xbox Series X has shown off so far?
Yeah, I obviously I watched them both, and it was interesting that my initial, again, we're gonna all keep it real here. My initial reaction to the PlayStation 5 was interesting because a few weeks before that, they showed off the Unreal Engine. That the female hero and running, and you saw the rocks falling, and I was like just blown away. I'm like, there is next generation right there. So I had that in my head, right?
Yeah.
And then when I went into the PlayStation 5 reveal and stuff, I was just like, man, where was that gameplay? Like, I built it up so much in my head, and I was looking at the games going, these are really cool, but they only seem like a little bit better than the PlayStation 4. They weren't what I was imagining that Unreal Engine would be showing. So from that standpoint, as you're watching it, you're a little bit let down. You have to go back again and watch it and go, oh, wow, look at how cool those visual effects are and this and that. But I did see a lot of the same type of gameplay, right? There was first-person shooters. There was, kind of the platformy thing. But there was that one epic game that was like underwater, like the cartoony. What was it called?
I'm trying to remember that. Which one was that?
You know the one I'm talking about?
The underwater one.
It was Horizon.
I can't remember.
Was it Horizon? No.
It had to be. That was the most.
Well, Horizon.
No, it wasn't Horizon. No.
This was an indie game, a smaller studio.
Oh, what the hell?
It was so awesome. And that was the one where I looked at and go, now, wow, that is really special and different from an art style perspective. Like, that was the one, probably my favorite one. But I mean, everything looked.
The cat one was pretty cool. The
cat in the city.
With the
that was interesting as well. That was very unique, right? And so that's what the thing was. I was looking for like super unique experiences, but I got a lot of the same, like, oh wow, here's a really amazing first-person shooter. And here's another really amazing first-person shooter. And here's a cinematic of a basketball game.
You got Bugsnax too. That's
look at the sweat. It's amazing. The sweat was so realistic, and the eyes were so cool. So we saw a lot of cinematics, and the gameplay that was shown. And again, this was me personally. I love PlayStation, right? I'm a PlayStation fanboy. I'll admit it. But yeah, I was a little let down because I was expecting a whole bunch of stuff like we saw a week earlier or whatever with the Unreal Engine. So, but you look back now at it and you go, okay, it is what it is. What about you, Vic?
I mean, I think the Epic stuff was incredible, but it's a target. It's like, this is where people will get to. You know what it's like when you know what it's like firsthand now. You're launching your own machine, but everything, it's like a race to the finish line. Yeah. And generally, I mean, look what's happened with Halo. They pushed it back because of the feedback. And it's so hard to launch a system and really killer software for a bunch of reasons. And one of the main ones is that people don't know what the install base is going to be like right out of the gate. And so there's a lot of push-pull on the development side. And generally, most consoles launch with maybe one or two like killer games, and then there's a lot of filler type stuff that we tend to forget about when we think back on a console's lifespan. PlayStation 4 had a tremendous launch, mostly based on the price of the system and how it compared to and contrasted with the Xbox One. But I can't recall too many of the launch games for PlayStation 4 being my favorite ones. What I felt was really interesting though with PlayStation 4 was the strength of Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2. Visually, those are targets that feel next gen, and they're in this gen, especially if you're on PlayStation 4 Pro. And it's fascinating that it's almost like they are promising to beat that with their next stuff. So Sony, I think, had a very strong presentation with stuff like Spider-Man, the Miles Morales game. That's the thing I'm so fired up for PlayStation.
That's crazy.
But leading into that with Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, can you guys believe how fast Ghost of Tsushima loads for such a massive open world game? You can load into levels and fast travel so quickly, which I keep hearing is what next gen is really going to be about.
Right.
Everybody
It's going to
using
be a quick load
SSDs.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I was actually pretty impressed with the amount of color in the PlayStation 5 launch, especially as we're discussing family-friendly stuff, contrasted to the Xbox stuff. Except for their last reveal where they showed off Fable and a few other more colorful games. The first Xbox Series X was just so dark and so dreary and gloomy. And not only do we need a kind of a break from that because of the world today, but I feel like it's so narrow cast to kind of think of gaming as just this hardcore, heavy violent stuff. And I think PlayStation did a pretty good job at kind of broadening that a little bit, But very, very strange year.
I miss all the Brown games.
Well, it was funny going into the Amico special event that we had last week. People were asking me about it beforehand, and I said, what are you going to show? Are you going to show Earthworm Jim? Are you going to show this? You're going to show, and I said, well, I can't tell you any of that stuff, but I'll tell you what we're not going to show. We won't be showing cinematics and really expensive rendered logos, up close rendered logos. I said, those are two things we can't afford and we won't be showing. So, and everyone's kind of like, oh, good. What I think was the strongest thing in the Amico lineup? It just a passionate, very intelligent, very savvy developer was the Bit Trip team talking about the new Breakout. And saying that they loved it and saying that they loved the technology on the Amico. And it just all clicked fully into place. The opening that you guys have in the marketplace and what a developer sees out of that and an established brand that's very easy to convey to people. It just was like, poof, you can point at that and go, that is why this opportunity exists out there. And to see that excitement to build on the system, that was inspiring. That's really what our main goal was. Our main goal was to, here's some games, here's some announcements, here's some awesome retailers, here's our team. It's not just me in a garage with my Erector set, or whatever. Like, we have these incredible people. But really, the main goal of that entire thing from Intellivision's perspective was, Tommy's been talking about it for 3 years now. Great. But let's show all of the incredible people from around the world who are just as excited and just as passionate as he is. And that was really the whole theme for us, was to show that it's not just me who's excited, but it's all of these amazing folks around the world who are generally excited about it. And the Alex from Bit Trip was just great. He was just so natural and so... And of course, our old cohort from Electric Playground, Scott Barrett, who's the guy you saw doing a Bomb Squad game, and he put that really funny video together. He was the director of the first couple seasons of Electric Playground, cameraman, director, so it was great to see him. But that was really the whole thing of our event. Because again, we're not Microsoft, we're not Nintendo, we're not Sony. We know that. I recognize that. I'm not here drinking my own Kool-Aid. We're not even trying to compete with what they're doing. So we wanted to show more about the people and the passion. Because we're not going to wow people out of their chairs with lifelike sweat and things like that. We're about the fun, the simplicity, and we wanted to show that through the people. And hey, they were really excited about the controller too. So it was a different style event. Now that that's out of the way, though, our next videos will focus more on gameplay and fun and the controller and things like that. So it's a stepping process for us,
Fantastic.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Guys, I feel I'm looking at the screen and I feel like I'm off center, but I don't know which way to go, so I am in center.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now you're good.
Yeah, for a second you were
way?
off, and then I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
he moved back right in the middle. That's perfect.
So I should
good
be
there.
here. Okay.
And,
All right,
and now,
cool.
now Tommy's a little bit off.
Yeah.
Nope, the other way, Tommy. The other way, Tommy.
They gave us this much room to breathe. Buddy.
Exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
Ask Chad how everything sounds and everything. Just
Yeah, in the chat, is everything the volume sound
Yeah.
good and everything?
If it sounds good, give us a Deej.
So you guys, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So Vic, these guys,
Looks like I'm kissing Tommy, right?
these guys, these wouldn't be the first.
Oh, hey,
We
hey.
we shared a hot tub in Vegas together. let me
Yes,
tell
we
you.
did.
A bubble bath, no less.
Yeah. Yeah.
True
yeah.
story.
Highlight of my career.
He puts that on his resume. Shared a
Yeah.
bubble bath in Vegas on camera.
That is amazing. That's awesome.
But no, the funny thing was about that is there's so many times, like one of my objectives going in when we would record these shows, first of all, we never had scripts. And we wouldn't talk about the games we were going to review. We wouldn't talk about them, like, because we had to spend we'd spend like a half hour or an hour in a car ride together, to get to the locations where we're shooting. We kind of always had this, rule where it's like, let's not talk about the games at all because we were natural, on camera. That was always our big thing was, we wanted. Now we knew that, we would pick games that we kind of knew, like, oh, Vic's going to love this one. I'm going to hate it. We're both going to hate this one. We're both going to love this one. Like we kind of, over the years, we kind of started to understand. Sometimes we surprised each other, but for the most part, we would pick games that we knew because if we had a show where we would just agree with everything, well, it's cool, but it's not as entertaining when we could kind of. But one of my big goals, and this goes to the douche, is one of my goals in my head was always like, because it made for great TV, was, look, Vic's the polite Canadian, and he played that up, and I was the loudmouth East Coast Italian, and I played that up, right? And so part of that was, if I can get Vic to feel uncomfortable on camera, I felt that was a great.
And every goddamn episode. It was
I felt because it was real too. Because like Vic gets a little embarrassed if I were to say something.
I'm where the buck stops, man. So if like you're saying something and there's people walking by and they're horrified, or like we're shooting in a store, or the network sees a rough guy, like I'm the guy. What is your co-host saying? I'm the guy they call. So that's
right.
That was in my head.
Well, I got to say too. I mean, a lot of the most funny stuff that we did, a lot of it never made it to air because of either the foul language or just cut to time. But and our graphics guys, Tavis, and our editor, I mean, they were so amazing because they had to take because me and Vic are talkers, let me tell you, right?
Yeah.
And
we get the polite note. When you guys are out, if you guys don't mind just being a little shorter on the shoot, and if you could not talk over each other the whole time, so our editors can edit every time we shoot. It was the same thing.
I mean, we would come back from a shoot and have like 45 minutes worth of whatever game, and they had to cut that to 2.5, 3 minutes.
Wow.
Is there any extra footage of this stuff, of the stuff that was never aired? I would love to. To hear this stuff.
Can we release this?
We did blooper
every year. The
specials.
blooper.
Yeah, we would do something, and also when we did staff parties, we would cut a lot of that stuff together, and every once in a while that would make it to air. I have the archive. I have the not only the episodic archive, but also all of the raw footage that we shot, all of the interviews. We've got rid of a lot of the gameplay footage that we recorded over the years because now you can record it at a much higher resolution. Yeah, but we have all or at least most of all the raw interviews and the raw out in the field reviews.
In fact, I was going to say, in fact, since I've become CEO of Intellivision Family Friendly Gaming, Vic has been blackmailing me. I have to pay him about $10,000 a month at this point.
That sounds like a good business.
That's a good deal.
That's great.
That's a smart business.
That's a great plan.
And some damn Intellivision shirts, and then we're good. I won't reveal the footage. No, I am trying to find the right way to reveal the footage. I've posted some of the content on the YouTube channel, but it's a lot of work. It's a tremendous amount of work
to even cut the raw footage to get it. Like I'll give you an example, Vic. One of the ones that I have personally, and I put it up on YouTube, and I don't know if it ever has really come out, but mine's like from a VHS copy that you sent me, but like really great one, for example. Remember when we interviewed Douglas Adams, the creator of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and in the show it was like a 30-second clip, right? But there's this amazing 5-minute interview of me and Douglas Adams, who's now passed away, deceased, unfortunately, one of my favorite authors, modern authors of all time. And it was so funny. It was a back and forth, and we were reciting Vogon poetry to each other. And so there's a perfect example. Of course, the other one I remember, Don King.
Yeah, that one was...
whoa! That
was one of my favorites.
Was the greatest interview ever, but the whole cut of it is hysterical. And Vic, that one you don't
cut. Of it too. Yeah, I know.
That one you don't even need to cut. You could just air that, throw that on YouTube, and people would just hysterical laugh about it.
And dude, I have to be honest. Like, I love this. It's almost like YouTube has become talk radio around video games. It's like people just put live cameras up, and everybody's in front of microphones and stuff.
Right.
And the act and the art of visiting creative people and communicating with them, which is what EP's heart and soul was, whether it was in a studio or at an event or whatever, that's not being done very much at all. And I feel like it's a real crying shame because there's all of these creators that have been doing things for a long time. Like I just had Eugene Jarvis on my podcast last week, and that was just like a dream for me. He was just so incredible, and he's the guy that created Robotron and Defender. And he's like literally one of the figureheads of the roots of the whole video game industry, not just the arcade industry, but and he oversaw so much incredible development at Midway when they were making NFL Blitz and NBA Jam and Mortal Kombat. Legend. Wow. And I just feel like there's so many of these people, and Tommy's working with a bunch of them now at Intellivision, that we just don't connect with, and it's not just the old timers, it's also the scrappy indies out there that are trying to create cool stuff, and it's so disrespectful, I find, to just be just write all that stuff off and just get pissed off about a feature set or your expectations on a game, and just constantly just creating this I don't know. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of hate that you guys all know that hits social media, but hits
wait,
YouTube.
Are you saying that everyone doesn't like Intellivision?
That's a corner of it. But like even the hate directed towards EA or 2K, and certainly there's a lot of reasons why people should be upset about things. And I'm not a fan of free to play stuff. I'm not a fan of microtransactions. I don't even like games that don't have an ending. Like I like to go in and play for a while and then finish it and then move on to something new. But I get that there's lots of people that dig all that stuff. But just the vitriol and the hatred that goes at these in the direction of oftentimes developers who are trying to create art, even within the confines of all of these different rules. They're really just trying to entertain you. And yeah, I know a lot of these people because I've had the luxury of being able to go to these studios and meet these people. And certainly the business has changed over the years, but the core of it is people that are really fired up about video games and want to put their art out there. And so, yeah, it drives me crazy that there isn't more love and respect paid to those people that try to entertain us out there, And when you talk about these classic interviews, it brings it all up for me because I feel very strongly that still needs to be happening today. And I feel like if we're interviewing these
more than
awesome
ever
people, yeah, we're inspiring. Like I feel like YouTube and Twitch are inspiring people to be streamers, which is fine. But what are they going to stream if we're not inspiring people to make games? And how do we inspire people to make games if we don't meet them, if we don't talk to them, if we don't, give them a platform so that they're not just, when I started EP, the whole thing, and Tommy and I were talking about this all the time back then, it's like you have this preconception that somebody pulls a lever and a game pops out in a box. And then you go to the store and you buy that and you play. It's like, no, people bled for that. And they stayed up all night and they had crazy dreams. And that's the story. That's what's cool about video games is people like really work their butts off to try to, do something different, And
that's again, get back to the Amico thing too, our event. That's what we were trying to showcase, right? That was the big goal was, let's showcase these awesome developers. They let them, tell their story about why they love the console or what they're making in their game and what's different about it and why they're doing a unique approach. Yeah, exactly. I wish there were a lot more of that as opposed to just folks giving their opinions on. But you know what it is too? It's clickbait, right? Because people like the controversy and they like
it's talk radio.
Yeah, they like the confrontation. Unfortunately, it sells. But I will say this. If you look on the most popular YouTube channels, I'm talking about people with 10 million plus subscribers, and their moms and their kids and their, whatever, tech people or whatever, what you'll notice about the most popular ones is that they are positive and they are happy and informative and well thought out things. So, there's a lot of stuff on the bottom and a lot of stuff trying to get to the top that's, how can we shock people? But I think the lesson learned is if you look at all the best, you'll see that they are the sweetest and the kindest and the funniest and the happiest and the positive people, which is really good. That's
what else though. Like the internet can't even accept that somebody can like something that they don't. Like you'll see us. Okay, we have Amico shirts on, and they'll be the first to say, "Oh, you guys are selling out your shirts for Amico."
Yeah, exactly.
And blah, blah, blah. But we'll be the ones who like, okay, don't you understand that we like the system? It's possible that someone can like the system and want to have it. Like I purchased one already, so like I'm waiting. Like I want to play this, and we are a co-op. Like
our channel is the co-op channel.
So they're like, who wants to play co-op games? There's people who want to play together in the same household still.
Shocking, crazy.
But people don't. But they don't want to listen though, and they say, okay, it's not for me. Now it's for nobody.
What was that, Tommy?
What do you guys got in that green cup?
Don't you worry about it. It's champagne.
You got some champagne.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. Now, it looks like St. Patrick's Day over there. I mean, big chocolate. Are you Irish? You're half.
I mean, maybe 1/16.
That counts.
It does count.
Cheers.
It does count.
To the Tommy and Victor's reunion.
Yes.
And to the chat.
And to the chat.
That's very sweet. That's very sweet.
Because we are in the uncut
I
section.
have my AirPod case.
Go back down your pants, Vic. Go ahead. Do it.
This is the uncut section of the podcast. So now we get our drinks in us, and then we got some questions.
Yeah. But one thing I wanted to comment
Let's
right
do it.
quick is that what you guys are talking about, like how internet is something like a cesspool with its negativity. I think when anyone, especially in the video game business, console business, people are very, very vicious. They're in their own camps. Microsoft this, Sony this. And remember when, you had the Wii U, it bombed, and Nintendo first unveiled the Switch. There were a lot of haters for the Switch.
Yes.
when it was first unveiled.
Dude, wait, hold on. The Wii, when the Wii was a couple months before the Wii came out, everybody hated it. Nintendo gets the worst of it, right? And then the Wii U, of course, came out and did flop. But yeah, you're exactly right. Remember the Switch? Everyone was like, "Oh, Nintendo's done.
They're done. It's over.
Yeah. Just be a publisher." They blah 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 blah. You know, I mean, it's so crazy that and again, we're feeling it now with Intellivision, right? The you know, a lot of the elitist hardcore gamers are like, this is stupid. No one wants this. You know, what a scam. Blah blah blah. What a dumb idea.
I'm thinking of the irony, man.
Have a great idea when
like
that
20
happened.
million Tommies. 20 million Tommies.
Burner accounts. Tommy's got burner accounts.
Their own medicine. All the games you didn't like.
That's
right. What's he doing behind the scenes?
This announcement right now. We are retro reimagining High Heat Baseball 2003. We're doing it again.
I was going to ask you about that.
The sons and daughters of the parents that liked High Heat Baseball and hated your review, they all made YouTube comments.
That's a classic review.
It's all come back to roost, hasn't it, Vic? My Super Smash Brother review, they're all getting it back. Years later.
Incredible.
It's incredible. So on that note, though, are there any reviews that
passionate medium?
Go ahead.
What was that, Victor?
No, it's a passionate medium, and I think that's okay. I think people just need to have perspective.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, people are so passionate, and it means something to them. So again, even like, you know, again, let's say, you know, Intellivision hardcore haters, we're giving them something. We're giving them entertainment. You know, their days revolve around watching our stuff so that they can comment negatively on it. So in some regard, we're giving them entertainment. We're giving them, you know, their pleasure as well, just from a different perspective. So look, the worst thing in the world is if talking about it.
That's true. That's a very important point.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we're in a day and age where the PlayStation 5 and, you know, the Series X, the Microsoft, those are even getting hate. So there's nothing safe right now online. Like, everything.
No, I'm actually glad you brought that up because I was in every single chat during the live stream for
no,
just because I just want to see. It's sometimes very fascinating to me about the negativity. It's always fascinating to me.
Boring.
Yeah. No, it's. I was in the State of Play chat. I was in the Xbox reveal. I was in the Amico one. I was in the Nintendo the origami. When they even said we're going to showcase Paper Mario origami. That's all we're showing. People were in there. Where's the Smash Brothers reveal? This is boring. Do you not read? Like, come on.
There could have been a Paper Mario Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it's like, yo. And you have the developers that were talking about Paper Mario. They're like, you know, this is what you could do and this, and that. And I'm watching it. I'm not interested in Paper Mario, but I want to watch it. I was like, all right, let me see what they're talking about.
Yeah.
The hate was so toxic. I'm like, this is insane. So it's all three of those companies are like, oh, no one likes anything apparently. No one likes anything.
The thing is though, that
but
group
you know,
is
the
only.
thing too, you always got to remember though, is that the negative folks are always the squawkiest ones, right? Most normal people don't leave comments.
Yep, that's true.
You know, so the overwhelming majority of people are positive. It's just that the negative ones, you know, they're the ones the most vocal.
Like 200 people online.
I'm looking at. I have a comment on this stream right now. I feel like you guys have punched in on me, and I'm just my space is shrinking. Can you guys back me up?
I was trying to do that live.
Is this a good time to bring up?
Nah, zoom in.
Victor's noggin.
Oh no, bad time.
That's hilarious.
Hey,
I feel like I can't move without being off. Like, is this?
I'm sorry, Vic. Hold on.
Now you're gone.
Now you're gone.
The man has a gargantuan noggin.
So while that's getting fixed, let's ask a question from the chat.
What I was gonna say though, I was gonna say, like 100 to 200 people in a chat online can look like the world, So it's not really a representative of how much hate is actually happening. It just seems like there's so much.
Those are the ones who are talking.
Yeah, because they're the ones that are leaving the comments.
I like to say, like even on our Amico event from last week, there's 50,000 views, somewhere around there, but there's only 250 dislikes. Yeah. So that is 1/2 of 1% of the people who viewed it disliked it. So that's the real numbers. Yeah, right? Exactly. That's real stuff.
No, in the Amico chat, there was a lot of positive people at the beginning. They were like, "Oh, I'm excited for this, blah blah blah," and I was like, "Let me get my positive comment in there before all the people pop in. All the haters just pop in and start saying some stuff." And then, of course, they were like, some people were in there. Oh, boring. It's almost to the point. It's like, what do you want to see? What do you personally want to see? That one hater.
Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, Earthworm Jim. Okay, there goes Earthworm Jim. There goes a teaser. Oh, there's no game. There's not enough gameplay. That's because games got to get made. It takes time to make these games.
Even if you give them what they want.
People thought that was cinematic, and that was actually the gameplay. That's in engine. That was playing on the system, and it was all hand-drawn animation, and they came in.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah. Crazy.
It was more than what the Metroid Prime 4 was when that
exactly.
was revealed.
That's what I keep comparing it to.
A logo.
Yeah. All right.
You know how that's.
So I see a lot of questions. Folks are asking, what do me and Vic think about the G4 revival?
Yes, that was one of my questions.
Has your phone rang yet? Because mine hasn't.
Well, the first time I saw anything about that G4 was from Victor. He posted up, the video of
Victor's hiding some things. You can tell by his smile.
I said, hello, old friend. What can I say? I can't say anything yet. I can't really say anything. But yes, it's a very curious development that G4 is back. And all I can say is if a company wants to work with me to create world-class coverage of the video game industry, I can guarantee them that I won't waste their time or their money, and I'll bring incredible people together to build a show that a lot of people are going to like. We cracked that nut. We went from a weekly show to a daily broadcast show that got good ratings and lots of different people watching it, and learned a lot.
Well, let me just say it right here, Vic. I'm going to say it right here. This is a level 857 exclusive that if because right before Intellivision happened, Vic and I we're talking about, hey, let's get back together and do reviews on the run because with technology now, we actually don't even need to be in the same room. Yeah. We could do it from our basements if we wanted to. We were talking about that, but Vic, I'm letting you know this now live that if you go to talk to G4 or if talks are happening, I'll throw my hat in the ring, and obviously it's always a little more difficult for me these days because of the company but Video Games Live and all this stuff. But hey, if we can get together once a month and shoot 2 or 3 episodes and review some stuff or do whatever, or show up at the same conferences and get together, I'm in. So add my name to the hat if that happens. Wow. You got me backing you too.
Wow.
Awesome.
You heard it here?
Awesome.
And
that's awesome.
If that does happen, you have to promise to bring back the Deej again. You have to throw that in there. You have to do it.
That's
given. That's okay. All right.
Who would have done?
It's mandatory.
Even if it's just 2 reviews a show, that's all.
2 reviews a show.
Yeah.
There you go. Exactly.
Would we only review Intellivision games?
Only Intellivision games.
This time around,
surprise! Another 10.
Why is it getting 10 every week?
Good news.
Another Game of the Year candidate. Who would have thought?
10 out of 10.
and this time around.
You know what we could do is we could talk about something other than games. Maybe we talk about comics or movies or something like that. I mean, we can have a talk.
We could do
that's not being live streamed out. We could have a production meeting away from a live stream.
Hey,
we could do a toy. Let's review toys. Let's review toys.
that's awesome.
Or actually, reviewing movies would be good, and I'll tell you why. Because our movie tastes are very much taste where there's some stuff that we love both, like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Tron or whatever. But then then you like all those crappy, independent, foreign bullshit films.
Damn.
And I love like the stupid comedy one, So it would be fun because there would definitely be things that it would come across like the game reviews where you'd come across as the more intelligent and well spoken.
I would just come across like that.
Yes.
My character would present himself like that.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I would play more of the street rat.
The street rat.
That'd be great.
But there'd be an audience.
Anthem had a great question. He said, "What are the favorite episodes that we did together?" That's a great question, Vic. I mean, gosh, we literally did hundreds and hundreds of episodes together.
We shot the hell out of Vancouver. We shot everywhere in this city. Like we would just try. We shot in the meat locker. I love the Yoshi one where we were singing the song. I can't remember. We were on. It's just so wholesome. And I liked the Jet Force Gemini review where you just trashed it, and I'm like, what the? And I love that damn game.
Jet Force Gemini.
Up on the billboard, right, for that one?
That was awesome. I love the ones where we shot in Las Vegas. Those were always super fun because the backgrounds were just big and a lot. Well, that's where we ended up in the hot tub, which we were talking about.
For the show. Level 5-7.
We put it in the show.
Some of the ones that I remember the most are the Halloween special stuff that we do. Was so funny. You dressed up as a clown was hilarious.
This is online?
I remember the horse, or was it a camel or something? And I was the horse.
Oh my God, that was incredible! Yeah, why do I got to be the camel's ass?
The horse's ass. Vic's like, if the shoe fits.
Hey, remember we did the Christmas special where we had a jib out front of my house, and we actually had the jib fly into the. It was a total. It was
a Christmas movie, Hallmark Christmas movie.
We were quite ambitious. We worked our butts off.
I don't think maybe consider is that when we were doing those shows in the late 90s, mid-late 90s. The graphics that were being done, that we were pulling off, a ragtag team of super talented folks. Again, it kind of reminds me of Intellivision, where so passionate, small team. We didn't have the money of NBC or CNN to pull off all these amazing graphics. We had nothing except passion, and to pull off lightsabers. I mean, I remember George Lucas commenting to us how amazing the lightsabers looked for this little time TV show that and we were pulling off real lightsabers back when no one could pull off lightsabers. And that was the one thing I think overall.
That was Tavis, man. Tavis Dunn. Incredible. Wow. We had
working. I'm going to hire him at Intellivision. Where's he working?
He works for Vancouver Esports now. He works with the people that own the Canucks, and they're in the esports space. So
cool. They'll be business in a year. So great. I'll hire Tavis.
Well, he did national news for a long time after EP, and now he's doing stuff that's more related to all the gaming time that he had. But his work was so good, he got headhunted by LucasArts at the time. Or actually, I think it might have been Lucasfilm. And I remember G4 asked us, because when they were putting the G4ia award show together, they asked us to do some of the effects. Tavis to do some of the effects. And that was a huge ingredient for sure. And I think we all kind of recognized that the show had to kind of work on a bunch of levels. It had to honor the developers, so we had to actually get some information that they.
Most of people who do not want to be on camera.
Yeah, so we had to work with them.
That's awesome.
And we had to get some info related to the people's interest in these things that were coming up. It had to kind of appeal to people that knew very little about video games, so we had to kind of really think about how we put all these things together. It had to be as fun to watch as a game was to play. Like, it had to kind of sit right beside the visual stimulation that video games were, and it had to kind of fit with that. So we came up with elaborate, in the field pieces all the time. Yeah. And, we didn't know all of this stuff. We really kind of banged it out, the formula in the first few seasons. Awesome. Yeah.
And we got, by the way, we got kicked out of so many places. It was a ragtag, run and gun kind of thing. So I would say that now Vic would always try to get as much, and the team would always try to get as much, real, permission as we could, permits and permission. But half the places, half the shoots were just us, and we got kicked out of so many places, and sometimes we would even leave it in.
Yeah, we would, and that was fun. But it was very different then, right? Like we were like one of the first cameras at E3, because we've been to every E3. In 1995, there was no big broadcast camera, but EP had one. Yeah. And that was kind of the way there were no regular cameras visiting game studios back then. We were the only one. And so, and every time you took out one of these big beta cams, it was a visual statement. So it was exciting.
Everyone would start gathering around.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And security guards would be like, well, I got to check with my boss, and I got to, what was always weird to me is we'd be at a studio and we'd be shooting, maybe we wanted to go outside so it wasn't all the same computers in the background. But we'd shoot outside, and then a security guard would inevitably roll by and say, well, did you get permission to ship? It's like, well, we're shooting an Activision interview. Why can't we shoot? And I had to say that so many times. And there were a lot of phone calls to supervisors and stuff.
I'll tell you one of the great things, one of my great memories was, I'm a huge Yankees fan, right? Yeah. Huge baseball fan, huge Yankees. And
he's laughing.
And we're in Oakland. We're in San Francisco on like a 4 or 5 day shoot. We were going to LucasArts. We were going to all these different great places in San Francisco, IDOS and Sega and all these great places. And then it's at night, and I'm looking. And again, this is before mobile phones and all that stuff. Really, I mean, they were just starting to happen, but we didn't have smartphones. Any of us.
I had a cell phone then, and I remember this.
Oh. And I said, "Oh my gosh, Vic, the New York Yankees are playing the Oakland A's tonight in Oakland Stadium. We got to get it." And Vic cold calls the Oakland Athletics, calls the A's, and says, "Hey, we're doing a show on." And we got in as press. Within 45 minutes, I am on the field. And this is 1997 because the Yankees won the World Series in 96. And I'm on the field with the world champion Yankees warming up. I'm in the dugout. I'm talking to Derek Jeter and Andy Pettit and Merrill Strawberry and Mariano Rivera throwing the ball around, stretching with these guys.
Wow.
And it was so much fun.
And the video game, the word video game was such a door opener. Like we'd go to Sundance, and there's some cameras and stuff at Sundance, obviously not tons when we were there, but it's all celebrities and gossip. What are you wearing? And who are you hoping to work with? And
right.
What's your favorite game? And do you play games as much as your other people, your other friends in your trailers? And and it was like
we'd get so many celebrities like that. So many celebrities.
Wow. People were into it. They want to talk.
Remember this one, Vic? Remember this one? I'm Galaga. I'm a bug from Galaga.
That was Will Ferrell.
Will
Yeah.
Ferrell.
What?
We got Will Ferrell talking about video games because everybody
That
loves.
was a crazy trip, man. That was at the
I remember
MTV Movie Award.
I remember one of the funniest ones was
That's awesome.
what was that? What was the musical that had just come out? The Moulin Rouge. Moulin Rouge had just come out. It was super huge. We're doing the red carpet, and Vic asks Baz Luhrmann, who's like amazing, talented thing. And Baz, he's got the cool long hair, and he's total like director, producer, like genius, brilliant, just on a different level creatively and stuff, which shows in all his pictures. And Vic asks him about video games, and he starts to go into this just epic.
It was brilliant. Yes.
About storytelling. He's like, well, storytelling, and it goes back to the Indians, and they would take story, and they would go on these dreams and these trips and these, and he just got, and it was just like, this is so awesome. Like,
Wow.
we're excited to talk about games because we weren't asking them what they were wearing that night.
Right.
That's hilarious.
My AirPod just died on me, guys. Is that coming through on my mic?
We can still hear you.
Yeah,
we still hear
I
you.
can still hear you.
Do you hear the echo of you guys, or is that okay?
No, so
No.
It's a
far
little
so good.
echo, but
I don't hear that
We don't hear
echo.
us.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn it down a bit so we don't have to worry
Yeah,
about
it
it.
is. That's good. Yeah.
Baz Luhrmann was amazing, and he was right into it, and what was cool is I just seen Moulin Rouge the day before, and he was asking what I thought of the movie and who, how many people were there, and that was just a real thing. But Tommy, tell the one about I met Alex Rodriguez and the rest of the Yankees.
Oh, this was the worst
Wow.
one. So I have a lot of friends in the Yankees organizations. I know a lot of the players. They're personal friends of mine. And so we were in Tampa, Florida. And I forget why we were there. Why were we in Tampa? It wasn't just for that, was it?
You were in the training stuff, but we were always looking. We visited studios while we were there. We were always trying to visit studios and then shoot reviews on the run or Judgment Day in as many cool locations as we could, right?
So we're in Tampa, and that's where George Steinbrenner Field is. It's called Legends Field, Steinbrenner Field now, and that's the spring training of the Yankees. And it's in late February, early March, and we're down there, and I'm like, Vic, look, bring the cameras in, and we'll get the Yankees. We'll get them all talking about stuff and this and that. And being the douche that I was, because we were doing reviews, and so here we are at Yankees training camp, and again, we had gotten all of the rights to do anything we want. I even had the main contact, the main Lon Trost, who was the head legal of the New York Yankees. I would wear my Yankees hat on air all the time, and we even got permission by the Yankees so that you didn't have to gray it out, and so that's how deep it was. But here we are, and so I'm like, look, I'm wearing my Yankees uniform because I thought that would be funny, right? And so we're doing the reviews on the field, and then I start interviewing people on the field, Yankee players who I knew, and we were doing on the field. But then my favorite player ever of all time is Derek Jeter, right? And so now we're like, Vic, we got to do an interview with Derek Jeter. Like, that would be the thing of all time. So Vic, who's not dressed in Yankees gear, so we go in, and they said, look, we'll let you do an interview with Derek Jeter, and you can do it in the locker room with Derek. So you can't do it on the field, but you do it in the locker room, and it's got to be quick because Derek's got to get into it and everything. Get into the game and everything. Yeah, okay, cool. And then here I come in my Yankees uniform, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not going to have you interview Derek Jeter with your Yankees uniform."
Civilians come in Yankee uniforms, but your other guy, he can go in. So I go in,
That's
outside with tears in my eyes as Vic is in the locker room interviewing my hero.
That's fucked up. That's so
I don't know
fucked
any
up.
of them either. That's the worst of it. Is like I don't
even
have
know-
time to follow baseball. You know.
Oh my god.
That sucks.
That's hilarious.
Oh, shit.
That's hilarious.
That's like getting stabbed in the chest.
Yeah, that's like,
Tom, you would have been starstruck.
and you had to watch the whole thing. You had to watch.
Wow.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Like we have been able to meet all of these incredible people, and it was video games that were the the on-ramp to a lot of that. So it starts with access to the game companies and the creators and stuff, and then you recognize the more that you do this, that games touch every aspect of the world. Like I invited Elijah Wood to, well, you invited Elijah Wood to Video Games Live, but I invited Elijah Wood to the first G4ia because he was just a massive gamer, and we had mutual.
And he showed up.
And he was there, and
we partied with him afterwards.
And the world
Do you have stories about that?
Yeah. I'd like to hear that.
I mean, like, these celebrities and these famous people that as far as we get to know them, like we've seen them at a bunch of parties and things like that, but they're just regular folks that have had a really, terrific opportunity that they manifested and they took advantage of it. And what I always found was people being very grateful that we didn't try, like that's not EP's beat. And I don't know, I always looked on other entertainment shows because like I created EP from the idea of Entertainment Tonight was always it used to be a show I loved because it was a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Now it's cringy.
Yeah.
And I always loved Siskel and Ebert, and I thought, okay, let's use those two awesome entities into EP, and I feel like that's kind of what we were able to achieve, and because it was done from a real pure place, it allowed us all kinds of extraordinary opportunities.
Well, the other thing too that I remember from when we were shooting like the pilots and the episodes, I remember because the first couple of seasons, it was just me, introing the show, and I had to, and Vic would do a couple interviews here and there, but I'm like, dude, we need to get you on camera. It should be the both of us. Because again, we had such great chemistry. We knew from the first time we shot, and I remember it like it was yesterday, where we were reviewing Crash Bandicoot, had just come out for the first time, and we went to a drive-in theater, and we just got up on a car.
That drive-in theater, by the way, that was what inspired me to call it Reviews on the Run. And we didn't. It wasn't that night. It was we drove by the drive-in in the middle of the day.
It was in San Francisco.
Yeah, we were headed. It used to be in just a little bit north of where Sony was. I think we were probably going to Sony or Sega or something. And I saw the drive-in, and I thought, if we shoot in the drive-in, that'll be a pretty cool thing. We can fake the footage on the screen.
On the screen.
And we could just keep doing it. We could shoot the reviews outside, and we'll call it Reviews on the Run. And that was it. That was
But I had to drag him kicking and screaming I said, come on the show. Come on. We want more of Vic. And he was apprehensive at first. No, you should.
I was the producer. I was thinking of, and I always felt like the developers were the stars, and they really were, but they themselves didn't want to be the stars. We had to drag them
right
in front of the camera, and then they were very gracious and they played along. But Tommy really taught me that a very important lesson about us being an avatar for the people watching. Like we represented a direct connection, and there was a tremendous amount of value in their relationship with us when they were watching. And you taught me a lot of that. But honestly, it was Discovery when we were on Discovery Science, and they did a focus test, and they put the show in front of a bunch of people, and I got the feedback that people wanted to see more of me on the show.
So finally, he listened to me. I took a focus group, somebody other than me, to convince him. But one thing I like to reminisce about, Vic, how many times, and more so me than you, did we put ourselves in actual danger? Like physical danger. you can go back and look at some of those shows, and I remember this again like it was yesterday. I think we were up towards Banff or something, but we went to a ski resort.
Yeah, no, that was in that was like Cyprus or
okay, it wasn't all the way in Banff.
Yeah,
but it was snowing, and the ski lift wasn't working, and we literally, our camera crew and everything, we put one of the ski lift things up onto the cables, and we had got on this completely unsafe, and we're about 20 feet up in the air doing this view, and then I'm like, look, the snow looks pretty deep. For the final shot, I want to be hanging off the ski lift. I'm going to let go, and I am going to fall, and I might die, but at least it's on film. And we did it, and it was real, and you could see me. But I jumped off buildings. We did so much.
Wow. Even in the intros for the segments in our studio, you were always throwing yourself around. You're doing your own stuff. You were awesome at that. But even the
Tommy the
demo stuff that we shot, we had Cuba Gooding Jr. Remember the Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about this.
And Tommy and Cuba Gooding Jr. were talking about one of the NHL hockey games at the time. And they got into like a on the ice kind of fight, and then this was before we were on the air. So Cuba Jr. donated his time to us, and it was super cool. We didn't have this air anywhere, but I had this idea. Well, what if he's kind of knocks you over, and then you ever see that John Belushi on the ice thing where the camera, or who's the other big guy, Chris Farley on the ice, where the camera spins and he's just spinning on the ice, and it's just sliding around, and he's I know that.
So me and Cuba Gooding Jr. get into an on-air fight, like we're messing around, and then he grabs me, pulls the jersey over my head, and then throws me across the ice. And then, of course, we did a cutaway of me spinning on the ice and scoring a goal. And the red light goes off. We actually did use that, though, Vic, because we used that in the intro to season 1. That was part of the intro, remember?
That's
throwing me around and stuff.
I gotta look that up.
Wow. We tried to turn it into more than just sitting at a computer. And I remember, one thing that I shot with Jeff Keighley was the Star Wars Battlefront 1 interview. We shot it at LucasArts, and I went back and forth with one of the PR folks there, who's a friend of mine now, and he's great. But he's like, I don't know, man. You got this huge elaborate thing. You want to pull in all of these developers, and we had the 501st where they were going to come and stormtrooper outfits, and we're going to do a whole battle during the interview. And I said, you want us to just shoot it in front of a TV? Because we'll shoot it just in front of a TV with none of this stuff. But nobody is going to remember that interview at all. But if we shoot this out in the woods with, an army of stormtroopers and all kinds of visual effects and blasts everywhere, people are going to remember that forever. And he said, I don't know. It sounds like it could be super cheesy. And I said, well, it will be cheesy, but it will also be super fun and crazy and memorable. And it's one of the most memorable things that we ever put together. And all the 501st guys were incredible. We had them back for Battlefront 2. I actually had that PR guy from LucasArts call me up and apologize and say, you were so right.
And George loved it.
And they played it in company meetings, and George Lucas saw that and a ton of the other Star Wars stuff that we did. Because we were making these video love letters, man. Like
there were homages to George.
There was no YouTube fan films every week and all the other stuff that started to erupt kind of. And it was a question of timing and passion and everything, but we were kind of singular out there, especially in TV. In the middle of one of an EP interviews, a lightsaber battle might break out.
That's so awesome.
And it was pretty random and awesome. And very grateful that we had a chance to do all that. It was a pretty cool. It was a lot of work, but it was a cool responsibility and a cool opportunity to be there to do all of that stuff.
I had a question about Jeff Keighley, right? So you guys have a history, right? Together?
I was going to say, Jeff, a lot of people don't know this, but Vic hired Jeff to do, like, that was his first TV on air gig.
Yep.
And Vic, I have a question for you. Are you at all mad or jealous that Jeff was in Death Stranding and you are not?
Well, he's in Death Stranding, but I made the making of Metal Gear Solid 4. So I don't get jealous, man. Like I've had so many great opportunities. So like honestly, I didn't know when I started EP if this was going to be like a cable access show that lasted one season or. Yeah, I had no idea, and slowly but surely we broke down a lot of doors and made some great partnerships and relationships, and we were able to grow it. And, the thing with Jeff is that Jeff actually was already a journalist in games well before I hired him. He just hadn't done a lot of camera work.
TV stuff, yeah.
But he endorsed EP. He was in our pitch packet in the 90s because he was a journalist writing out of Toronto. And we'd sent him some of the early EP demo stuff, and he wrote us a nice note that we attached to our early EP info packets so that people would find out about the show. So I've known Jeff, the full. I met him at E3 '95, and then when I brought him on board, he was obviously a natural, and he's a real smart, shrewd go-getter, just like Tommy is, and understands a whole aspect of. Business and put all of these visions together. I'm incredibly proud of him. I mean, that's the biggest win out of this whole thing for me. And Tommy knows this, but I was completely freaked out when Video Games Live was taking off, and Tommy had to make the call that he just couldn't commit the time to make EP and reviews on the run at the time. And I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I'd already done like 12, 13 years. With Tommy, and I was like, why? And there, new content needed to be made. And so I slowly started to spiral out and try all kinds of different people, and it worked out. But it was freaky. And Jeff was one of those people that I was able to call on to kind of bring into the fold. But then I got to work with amazing people: Julie Stouffer and Jade Raymond and Scott Jones and Marissa Roberto and Steve Tilley and Ben Silverman and Jose Sanchez and Raju and Sean, like just incredible. The list is huge, and that's all the people in front of the camera. There's also lots and lots of extraordinary talents behind the camera.
Well, the story I like to always tell, though, is that before she was a massive mega movie superstar, but Evangeline Lilly from Lord of the Rings, from Lost, from Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Before that, she was one of the women on our show before she was discovered. Vic discovered her first.
I was auditioning. That is
true. That was a good find.
Correspondent at EP because we had her as and she was actually on Jimmy Kimmel when she first started her career on Lost. They ran clips of Judgment Day with her shoulders with Tommy and I talking underneath.
And she was so embarrassed that she was on this cheesy video game show.
She was, but her role was about to expand because she was awesome and she was such a cool person, and she had a natural innate ability to. She came with a lot of curiosity and obvious talent and smarts. And I felt embarrassed that that's the only way that we were employing her. And so I was actually auditioning her. I have an audition tape somewhere of me, getting her to ask questions.
Tomorrow. It's like blackmail.
Think of her.
Blackmail.
Yeah. But I tried to hire her again, and her agent said, no, she doesn't do non-union gigs because we were a non-union show. And I said, she must have got some cool commercial or something. And then I was on a flight across the country, and I opened up a magazine, I think it was Newsweek, and there's a full page ad of Lost with Evangeline Lilly, and I'm like, what?
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's cool.
You're a good judge of character, man.
Yeah, man.
I think that's probably the area that I've had the most success. I've been able to really pick amazing people, and I miss them like crazy. You guys are very fortunate to be able to collaborate and share your passion for this and thoughts around this stuff. I feel like that's what we really were able to do, was like bring an incredible collective of people with different ideas and different perspectives. Yeah. And we worked together to build something that was very special and inclusive. And it was because all of these different visions and ideas were sort of bouncing around all the time, you know? And so protect that, because, you know, all kinds of things can kind of change your course through making things, but it's that group that you get to. And Tommy kind of has found that again. I think that you had that again with Video Games Live, but now with Intellivision, it's probably even.
I mean, we're bringing the, you know, getting the band back together, right? I mean, we have 6, including me, 5 others, including myself, 6 total of the original Earthworm Jim team, all work for Intellivision right now, you know, and there's such an incredibly talented group of people, but programmers I worked with 30 years ago, and sales and marketing people that I worked with 20 years ago or something, and it's such a comforting thing to have a group of people that, you know, are all, you know, AAA rock stars in their own right, and to bring everyone together in that same thing to create something new and unique. And we want to bring something beautiful and unique and fun to the world. And everybody's as passionate as I am. But yeah, bringing that back, man, this is, you know, I concur with Vic. The 5 of you guys, you know,
Tommy,
you're enjoy it.
Have you considered, Tommy? Have you considered having Earthworm Jim as your like the mascot for the Amico?
Yeah, you know, it's you know, our system is very, you know, it's all about families and this and that. So, you know, Earthworm Jim's great for the retro, you know, more, well, we call it retro now, but you know, it could be something we'll have to see when the game comes out. Okay. This and that, you know, like Crash Bandicoot. Yes. If you remember,
good example.
Was never originally the face of PlayStation. Right. It was a game that Naughty Dog did through Universal. In fact, the guy who did that deal, Phil Adam, is my VP of business development. And so if you recall, the game came out, it was widely popular. And then then Sony came in, bought the company, and bought the rights to the character. But Universal owned that originally. So you know, you never know. We'll see how it goes. But we actually do have a kind of a secret weapon that we haven't told anyone about
until now.
A character that is going to be part of the Amico world. That's not the Running Man. The Running Man's the old that's like the icon for the company in television.
Is it that Tron statue in the background? It's Tron. It's Jared Leto in Tron Ares.
I heard of it.
Yes.
We're getting a new Matrix movie. We're getting another Tron movie. I mean, things are going to be good. I hear there's an Indiana Jones in the works.
It's 1999 all over.
Pandemic. Get out of the way so Harrison Ford can complete his Indiana Jones journey.
I know. Hopefully he doesn't phone it in like he did on 4.
Yeah. I still like this stuff. I like this stuff. I might be alone. But I love. I don't. Do you guys know that I like Harrison Ford?
I had no idea. I have some questions from the chat,
but I had another question.
Quick one.
Let me ask
you guys gonna fight for the questions?
I gotta ask.
Let me ask a question from
the chat.
I
gotta ask like 2 quick questions.
They've
been waiting. The chat's
been
waiting.
The chat's been waiting for a while.
Will there be?
This guy just.
Will there be an Earthworm Jim cartoon? Quick question.
Oh, I don't control the rights to Earthworm Jim, so I honestly don't know. I know that Doug has put out an comic book last year. It was just the one of the most highest quality graphic novel comic books I've ever seen in my life. And just today, he started a Kickstarter for Earthworm Jim.
I actually saw that today. I saw that today, actually.
What is it?
And he got his
Earthworm Jim comic book.
Okay.
Yeah, number 2 comic book. And he did on Kickstarter this time.
Good.
and he hit the goal in 16 minutes.
Wow, that's crazy.
No, it looks really. The art is amazing in that.
Back in that.
Really amazing.
Nice.
But Chalk,
All right,
chat.
so we got chat questions. All right, first from Go Game Go Show.
Yeah.
When are we getting the breakout demo on the Amico Club?
Okay, so that's a great question. So we just put out the Moon Patrol app. So if everyone goes and downloads Amico Club, you can play the whole first level of Moon Patrol. It's really fun. It's really cool. And so we're going to leave that one up for a while. And then, maybe a month or two, we're going to change out some stuff and add stuff all the time. So we don't have a specific date for that one just yet, but definitely by the end of the year, I would imagine.
Okay. Another question. Will Vic be getting a free signed Amico anytime soon?
That was my
you brought one, didn't you?
A free signed Amico? No.
No, did you get one of the Founders editions?
No, I'm waiting for you to send me. I'm waiting for the Canadian.
Then the answer to that question is no.
They sold out beforehand. He tried it.
Yeah, they sold out, man.
We'll get Vic hooked up. He has to join the Amico shill group. So we'll get Vic hooked up with the machine, even though he can afford to get one on his own. That's okay.
We should make an EP in television. We should make an EP branded in television.
That's a good idea.
There you go.
That would be
Do
great
it.
idea.
Special skin.
Yes.
A new sweepstakes.
Yep.
That's an awesome
I love
idea.
that. That's actually.
It's a picture of you and I in the hot tub.
Yes.
Right as you turn it on.
Right under the controllers.
Yes.
Right under the controllers.
Yes.
But you need to say it right. It was a bubble bath.
Oh.
Two at a time.
Is Kaboom coming to the Amico?
It's on our to-do list. We don't have the rights to it yet, but we have this big list of what we want to do in the future. Kaboom's on there, but we haven't officially announced it. We don't have the rights to it yet, but it's one of the ones that we'd like to see eventually.
Okay. Can either of you give some insight or understanding as to how the pandemic has altered development of upcoming games?
Well, I mean, I can tell you, I'll start, Vic. For my, personal experiences, with Amico, not only is it doesn't affect our games as much as it does the hardware because of distribution, and components are now more expensive, and there's backlog in China still, and there's compliance issues. Every country that we come out with has the United States just alone has 25 different compliance things, whether it's UL tested for the, if it emits an electric signal, there's a whole thing. And then of course Canada, and they have their laws and their things where, you have to have French on every single thing that's sold in Canada. So there's so many different, things that kind of, factored into pushing Amico, our launch, into a spring of 2021. From a game perspective, the thing about games is that, yes, you can work on games remotely. An artist can do art, a musician can do sound, a programmer can do programming. But guys, I got to tell you, from working on 350 games in my career, there's a certain magic that happens when people are in a room together creating. Like we couldn't have created Earthworm Jim, the original one, if we were all in separate locations, because that game is a perfect example.
Modems back then too.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Because the thing is that we didn't even have a game design document for Earthworm Jim 1 or 2. None of the games we worked on had game design documents. This is what we would do. We would come to work every day and we would try to make each other laugh. That's what we do. We'd get together and say, what's funny? And we designed the game around the jokes. You know, somebody would say, gosh, you know, what if we had a chicken and we like launched, because chickens are funny. What if we launched a chicken up in the air and and I said, well, that makes a funny sound too. Like, you know, every level you would see the chicken just like, you know, flying through the air. Like, wouldn't that be? And then I forget who said it, and somebody said, oh, no, wait. You know what's even more funny? Because chickens, yeah, they could kind of fly, or you could what if we did like a cow? Oh my God. And then I'd say like, oh my God, cows make even funnier sound. Moo, you know. And then somebody said, what if we launched him into the air? Well, how are we going to launch him into the air? I don't know. What if he was on like a toddler? Wait, what if he's in a junkyard and there's this big, big refrigerator? And then the joke was there, and then we created the game, the level, and the first experience around the joke.
Yeah,
I think EA should make the next Madden exactly the way that they
did. and so when we're designing, when the original team got back together and we're designing Earthworm Jim 4, we're using the same exact formula, which is, you know, because people say, oh, is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Look, we have pages of jokes, and now we're going to start taking those jokes and creating these games in a way that we could never do it before because of this unique controller, you know, the lights and a touchscreen. And imagine all the funny gags we could do where everybody has their own controller with force feedback and a touch screen and a disc and colors light up. I mean, the jokes we're writing just for this controller are pretty hilarious. So that's what we're excited about. But yeah, you know, so I think that's the real answer to the question is the real creativity really comes when you're in a room together, you know?
I think the technical aspects are being handled by the studios. You know, they're outfitting people with encryption and awesome hardware and comfortable chairs and, you know, all the stuff that you physically would need. But I think what is definitely being felt around the industry is that, you know, physical connection to your friends and the spitballing sort of aspects that honestly, I think does create a lot of the magic that goes into games. Now, we're not playing those games yet. We're not playing the games that have gone all the way through the pandemic. They're like, you know, there's a lot of games that are being finished that way. And when a game is being finished, it's a very different game than, you know, what is sort of,
what the goals are.
Yes. So it's going to be very interesting to see the 2021 and 2022 titles and hear the stories of how the teams overcame distance and put all of this stuff together. But, you know, I think we're months away from at least smaller groups being able to kind of get together.
You know, another great comparison and example, which everyone will understand easily, is that, like, if you're in a band, you could record a song together.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you could record a song separately, right? The Beach Boys did it, you know, back in the day. But you know, the bass player could be in Chicago, and the guitar player could be in LA, and the singer could be in Boston, and you know, you could record an entire album that way. But when people are in the room together, creating and recording together, man, that's magic that you can't recreate. And games are kind of a little bit like that as well.
Yeah, I don't think Ghost of Tsushima or The Last of Us Part 2 would be the quality entertainments that they are if they were fully made during this kind of work from home kind of scenario. You know, I think they both finished in that reality, and that must have been hard. But if they had started that way, because especially Last of Us Part 2, which I know, you know, is not everybody's favorite game, and there's a lot of people that are up in arms about it, but it's hard to sort of argue with the artistic kind of qualities of it and the risk taking that's a part of it. How would you do that if it was all Zoom call?
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that type of.
I heard there was big changes in that also, but who's to say what would have happened? But I mean, I liked it.
Yeah, to me that's a masterpiece still.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
A lot of people just came in the chat from they were listening to the Amico All Access, which was going on live at the same time. It's a great. Please check out OBE Pete and OEB Pete and all those guys who do the Amico All Access is great. So we just got a whole bunch of folks coming in. So hello to Smash JT.
What up,
and
Smash?
Shout out.
Let's just have a big shout out to the
Smash
chat.
Advisory Board is unbelievable. And shout out to Christian Martin, by the way. You have, he's also AKA C-Mart. But Christian Martin, you guys have in the chat right now, and he's been in here since the beginning. He's a Canadian. Vic, he's a Vancouverian. Vancouverian? I don't know how.
Vancouverian?
Christian is hands down the biggest intellivision collector on the planet Earth.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm not even exaggerating. And he's got stuff that only he has.
How come he's not working for you?
Wait, I'm gonna be going up to Vancouver at some point, and I definitely want to we'll have a get together, Vic. We're gonna have a big Intellivision day because OEB Pete's in Vancouver. So many big Amico contributors and fans are up there.
I had no idea. That's incredible.
So we'll have to come by.
Hopefully we'll have a live space again. Well, if you can fly, then there'll probably be a chance for us to have some kind of a live venue type thing. And it would be great to for you to bring hardware and let people kind of mill about and play the games, and we could talk about it, and that'd be awesome.
Worst case scenario, guys, you could just come here. That's completely fine.
Jersey,
there's room.
My Jersey boy.
You sneak across the border.
Yeah, we'll sneak across the border.
It's not hard.
It's not hard. We got you.
Canada, you can do it.
We'll figure it out.
BigChoco got you, man. He knows what's going on.
We'll come pick you up. It's fine. Wait, what?
That's right.
That's the last place we
You
visited.
guys are in New York?
Yeah.
Like before this whole thing happened.
Before the pandemic, yeah.
What part of Canada were you guys? Did you go to Toronto?
Montreal.
Yeah.
Oh, Montreal. Did you have some poutine?
Yes. It's fries with gravy.
Guys, it's calm down.
About poutine.
It's fries with
I didn't
gravy.
have it.
Yo, that just sounds like some shit. Yo, I was just like,
I know what it is.
Oh, I know you thought I was saying.
I have, yes.
I know you thought I was saying.
I thought I was being interrogated. I'm like, wait, what? What happened?
Derail.
It's a very innocuous food item. But if Tommy tells
we're on-
saying we're poutine,
We got
Poutine is French
St.
fries with
Catherine's
gravy.
Boulevard. Get some of that poutine.
Yeah.
Yo,
Everything was closed.
Tommy just set us a
Come
trap.
on, there'd be some good Canadian clean people watching this right now.
Yeah.
Ease up on that.
For those,
Yo, that was a trap. He set us a trap right
for
there.
those
French
of you
fries
out
with
there,
gravy, guys.
Yes,
You got it.
it's fries with gravy. It's their
We'll go with
it's
that.
their dish.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
It's their dish.
We'll go with that.
That's what he meant.
Damn, y'all look guilty as hell right now.
Listen,
It's a family podcast.
I would be the worst witness to any murder. I swear to God. I would be the worst.
all the bars were closed down. Everything was shutting down.
Yeah,
Except for like 2 bars were open.
Big chocolate turned cream.
It's so red now. How are you red? What happened?
That's when I'm hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate. We got him hot chocolate right now. Hot chocolate.
There you go.
Are there any more questions that you missed in the chat?
Yeah,
That's
there
hilarious.
are tons of questions from the chat. Okay.
All right.
Next up, what is the best swag you've gotten from doing the show?
This show.
Great
This
question.
show.
Oh my God.
Let me see.
I got the Uncharted 2 Collector's Edition, and that you guys know I love that freaking game. It's one of my favorite
It's
games
the
of
big
all
book
time.
one?
And it came with the dagger, and it was just absolutely beautiful.
It's worth a lot.
And Scott Jones, who I was working with then, he was my partner in crime here in Vancouver. He got it too. And he doesn't give a crap about toys or collectibles or whatever. So he just started to break down the box and everything. And I was like, "What are you doing? That's a collector's edition. What are you doing, you idiot?"
I'm gonna do my thing that I remember swag from doing the show is we got invited. I think it was in Las Vegas during DICE, Vic, if I recall.
Yeah.
And we went to a Nintendo event as press, and they gave us all DSs when it first.
What they signed? The original?
That was.
Was that Vegas?
No, I was thinking of. They gave us Brain Age copies of the game. Oh, the best swag was the Xbox 360. Remember that Microsoft had the Xbox conference
in the desert,
and they made the slim version of the Xbox 360, and we were in the audience, and they said everybody here gets a slim Xbox 360. Wow. They didn't have it for us. They sent them to us.
Wow.
I remember another one. I think we were. Was it a Midway thing for Ready to Rumble, or maybe it was EA for Fight Night or something? Ooh. But remember, we got. Let's get ready to rumble. Michael
Buffer.
Yeah. Michael Buffer was there. We interviewed him. But then remember, we got tickets to the big, it wasn't a Tyson fight, but it was a championship fight. And it was, and there we are, kind of like really good seats. And I remember that was amazing. And it was really, a lot of excitement in the air because it was a heavyweight bout, championship bout.
Nice.
Wow. That's so cool.
That's awesome. Probably was ready to rumble, right?
Lots of cool shirts and lots of swag, lots of collectibles and figures, and very, super spoiled. And honestly, like we live in the age now where it's much better in a lot of ways, because Tommy and I would be waiting for FedExes all the time because we had dates, right? Like we had to ship a show, and we had like crunch times on when we had to shoot the review and play the game. He lived in LA, I lived in Vancouver, and like there was a lot of orchestration, and we would be waiting for these physical copies of these games to arrive, and it was always nerve-wracking. It's like, did you ship it? Did you ship it? Can you send the the tracking number, because we need to play this thing so we can talk about it. And almost every week, but now everything is digital, so we get codes for all that stuff. But there was a long period of time where Christmas every day, like packages were coming in every day, and they were filled with games and swag, and it was crazy. But now it's all super digital.
Yeah, they make it a lot easier now.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Neil Matheson from the chat wants to ask Tommy if he can beta test the Amico.
Us first.
Us first, man. Like, come on.
I'll be honest. The system's coming out. As we know now, next spring. But the machine's going to be done. And so one of the things that but we have to do all these compliance tests and this and that's a long kind of arduous process. But so we can't legally sell machines until all of the compliance testing, everything done. But we have hand built units now, and that we're building them by hand because we have to get them to all of our developers and who are creating the games.
But Batman one that's sitting over your shoulder right there. I think that's
you see that? That's
like that one.
Okay? I know which one to get picked. And you turn the lights on blue, and it looks like Tron. So one of the things though that we're going to be doing is we are going to be sending out units, say review units to folks. We're hoping by the end of the year. And so to get feedback, we want you guys. So yeah, absolutely. And I'm being serious. Vic, Level 857, got to get one to Retro Advisory Board, OEB Pete, Christian Martin, Smash JT's right down the street, Anthem. All these folks have families and are really excited about the system. And so, having real life testing going on for a few months before it comes out is like a gold mine to us, like real everyday testing in your household with families. So I'm being serious when I say absolutely, we'll get you guys hooked up, because we want to have a group of very trusted people who will give us great feedback on everyday life with Amico.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
We down for that.
Can't
easily.
wait.
Yeah,
That is
wait.
awesome.
Easily.
Quick question before you do that. Do you find that the pushed back release date is a blessing kind of in disguise to give you more time to polish the system and, not to coincide with the releases of the Xbox and the PlayStation, considering it's going to be like
it really is. Vic's known me, more than half our lives. By the way, we're a week apart. We were both born in 1968.
35.
Vic was born on February 11th, and I was born on February 18th.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're literally a week apart, and we do have so much in common. We really are brother from another mother, and that's the fun thing is we have so much in common, and then there's certain things that are the opposite ends. But the reason the show works so well, and I think that people understood, was that Vic and I would, get in our little on-air squabbles, but the reality is that we respected each other so much on camera and off camera that's why we were able to rib each other all the time and say the things we were going to say, because if you don't have that kind of relationship, that kind of respect, or if there's any kind of like ego, or I'm better than you, or you're better than me, and then, that's when everything starts to break down. But the fact that me and Vic sincerely love each other and respect each other, and that's what made our relationship on camera so enjoyable and clicky, because we did respect each other so much. And I don't know if people got that, because sometimes people would come up to me and say, you and Vic still talk? Like, were you, you guys like hate each other? Or, no, it was all just, it was all just that, like at the time, because neither of us were married, like I remember our girlfriends would like fight with each other in real life more than me and Vic.
The other thing too that I think we had is we respected the opportunity very much too. Like we knew how singular and how special it was, and we were both incredibly protective and fired up for it, and just we loved the work as much as the camaraderie and getting to know each other, but we really kind of respected the whole thing about it. It was very unique, and it's hard. And that's been one thing that I've been able to kind of recognize in all of the people that I've worked with, is they think back to, because when you're in it, it's hard work, and there's days where it's going to be very frustrating.
Long hours.
Yeah, long hours, and you got to shift the stuff, and like. The thing that is lights a fire for me is the pace of it is incredible. It's very addictive because you're constantly sending things out. And I had a taste of game development and I really liked it. But one of the things that drove me crazy is how long it takes to finish something and send it out. I come from TV, and we were sending something out every day, and then sending something out every week, and then every day, and then twice a day, and extra stuff. And it's a real addictive kind of pull to create that much stuff together. And what I've seen and recognized is that everybody that I've worked with has had time to kind of get out of the fire of that and how much work that is, and to reflect back on how cool it was that we built these impossible shows. And they were truly built just out of passion. I mean, that was it.
But to answer your question, and like I said, Vic knows me, just as much as anyone, and he knows that I'm always a very, positive thinking person. If I put my mind to something, I'm going to do it no matter what. David Perry tells us
a negative, you can't build things. It's so. Right. This is the thing that I can't handle with a lot of YouTubers out there that are just, and I don't mean to corner them, but it takes so much optimism and so much faith and so much, love for the world to go and risk stuff, to go and create something, and certainly you can have stars in your eyes and big dreams about how many people you're going to reach and how much money you're going to make, but just the impetus to like get off your ass and create something is something to celebrate and to really always fundamentally know, and that's what I know about Tommy. It's like, and he has crazy ambitions and crazy dreams, but he's scratched them off of his lists. He like getting into the video game industry was a very, very tough thing. then, making his way to being on our show was a strange new adventure for him. And then getting Video Games Live off the ground, and, every single project that he worked on. And I was working beside him as you were crafting all of this stuff. I'd see him on the phone, because sometimes it drive me crazy. It's like, Tommy, we got to shoot, man. Could you get off the phone? See the fire on all fronts. Like, he cared about every game he was on. He cared about all of the people that he was bringing together for Video Games Live. And I know that he would talk my ear off about Intellivision when we were shooting reviews on the run. And I was an Atari guy, and
Perfect.
But I always do like to make lemonade out of lemons, right? And so to answer your question, is this a blessing in disguise? That's how I'm viewing it. I'm viewing the whole thing as it's an opportunity for us to create even better and greater things and ensure that the quality is going to be the best it can be. So I look at the date now, as you guys know, if you watch the video, that date meant something very, very special and personal to me. And, that date was chosen 3 years ago, before COVID, before we started, and we were on board to hit that date. But it's, so if anyone wanted to try to make that a reality, that date, it was me. But again, I'm a big believer in fate, and all things are happening for a reason. And we'll do something special on 10/10. I'll do something special. It's going to be, it's all going to be great,
All you got to do, like, you guys are not at the scale of Microsoft and 343. And based on what they showed of a game that the intentions were that we were going to be playing this year, and the feedback they got, that massive enterprise, they're pushing Halo back to 2021,
Right.
And so,
they have all the money and resources in the world.
And they've been working on it for years. Yeah. And so if anybody's got any issues at all, or if thinks any, poorly of this decision, they're not paying attention at all. I mean, look at these movie releases. They're all over the damn. I don't even know. I'm starting to review movies. I don't even know when they're coming out or where they're coming out.
Everything's all over the place.
It's all Netflix.
The world is in disarray.
Tenet is the only movie that's coming out.
Just look at Nintendo. Period. Nintendo. Period. With their directs, everyone's like, "Oh, the directs this month. The directs this month." No, it's like, no, there's a pandemic going on, so there's a lot of things that are delayed, and that's just the way it is.
Not going down.
So when it comes out, it comes out. It's like it's just the way it is. People are just bugging out. Relax.
You got Mulan.
Got Mulan.
Oh yeah, no, but you got to pay $30 to
just bring more people to watch it. Fine.
Change everything in Hollywood. If that's successful for Disney, then everything is going to come out that way. Right. We're going to see Bond. We're going to see Black Widow. Everything, and they're all ready to go. Which is crazy. We sure need entertainment, but it's going to change the business. Like, movie theaters are really in trouble.
Big time.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'd pay $25 to see Bond in my home tonight.
Yeah,
me too.
Right?
Because people aren't going to talk
do
it.
Same.
That's true. That's true.
Yes.
You won't have the people talking in the theater.
Yes, and you can pause.
Ruining the movie for you. Right behind you.
And I can watch it in my underwear.
Yes, and that too. Yeah, with $2 popcorn.
$2 popcorn.
Classing up the joint right there.
Any other questions in the chat?
Yeah, of course.
Well, how many we gonna do?
All right, I'll get one more for the chat, and then we can kind of move on. Tommy and Vic, you both gave great TED Talks in the past. If you guys had a chance to give another 10 or 15-minute TED Talk, what would you talk about?
Go for it.
I would probably, because of my involvement with what I'm doing now, I would probably talk about the importance of families playing together, the importance of the video game industry, recognizing that the reason why mobile is so huge as it is because they've made it simple and easy and fun. It's the difference between 2.5 billion people playing mobile and only 200 million people on the consoles and PC, right? So I would probably talk about the importance of people in a room together, communicating, human contact and human interactivity in the same room, as opposed to, because again, it's different. We talked about it a couple times tonight, you know, just like we were saying, is it hard to create a game not being in the same room? I talked about in a band. Can you record music as a band being in different rooms? Yes, you can. Well, it's the same thing with gaming. You know, online gaming is a great thing. You can, so much positives, but it's different when your buddies are in a room together or families in a room together.
Yeah.
It's way and you guys know more than anything, level 857, you know, and so I'd probably do a talk about the importance of that. And having, you know, putting it out there to developers to challenge them to say, how can you come up with different ideas with people in a room with all this technology instead of, oh, here's another first person shooter,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How about you, Vic?
Well, when I did the last TED Talk that I did, it was about something that I believed in alongside of what I do, you know, like it was not necessarily about my work. I referenced it, but it was more about the kind of way that I like to engage with the world. And when I did that TED Talk, it was 2011, before my daughter was born, and we were right in the middle of a lot of growth with our production company, and I had a lot of people working with me, and I was really I felt so grateful, and I still do, but I was just flooded with good fortune. You know, I had a kid on the way, and the company was big, and we were making so much television and so much broader and bigger than I had ever anticipated. And now, of course, I've gone through a lot of change. You know, my daughter came, and she's the best thing in our world, and my wife and I's world, and I'm such a fortunate father and husband. But I really miss the team dynamic. And the more I'm away from it, the more I recognize how important it is. So I think my TED Talk would be, how do you transition through change, but retain your friendships and your partnerships and your creative access points? Because I think people might take a lot of that for granted. And we live in an age and a world now where everybody has a platform and everybody has an ability to stand up and beat their chest in one form or another. But there is a lot less of this kind of collective discussion in a tangible, physical way. And coming from that and knowing how fortunate I was to have that, I think I would probably drill down into how do you preserve that? How do you protect that? And it's so precarious. It's not just media. I think this digital world that we're in has, and this automated world that we're in, has ratified the way that people can work together and create together in so many ways. And now work from home is going to be so much a part of the future, right? Because it's going to save companies a lot of money, and so I think I would focus on, I don't know what those would be, but I think the important ingredients and I guess collaborative creation, is something that I really miss. I really miss. I had it.
Yeah.
Really miss it.
My
I'm
friend,
running cameras by myself, and I'm editing, and I'm like doing everything online. And it's like I feel great joy when I send something out and people like it, but I miss the collaborative thing. Is so cool.
Yeah.
My friend Anthium asked, whose idea was it to break the blaster off of the Earthworm Jim statue in that episode? And the funny thing was, Anthium, is that was actually broken before we got there.
Yeah,
so it had broken, but we placed it like it wasn't, and then pretended like I broke the statue. But it was actually pre-broken before we got there.
Awesome.
That was the first thing I ever edited, was that segment where you were walking around the shiny, or no, it was the neighborhood with Stikz and April, and he was so funny. You guys were hilarious together. And I didn't know how to edit at all. And I sat down in front of our Avid and I cut together this thing and, worked with I learned how to edit on that piece. And we were working with Scott at the time. And and it was a 12-minute segment. And Scott was like, "You should just put that whole thing in the show." And it's like, no, you can't run a 12 commercial breaks. There's segments, and it still ended up being quite lengthy. But yeah, I have fond memories of that. That piece taught me how to be an editor, which was crazy.
Wow, that's great.
So cool. Hey, Tommy, RetroSoft Studios wants to ask you about a wrestling game.
Oh, I had a great talk with Retro. I forget the gentleman's name. What's his name?
Mike Herman.
Mike Herman.
Mike.
He was on the podcast.
Yes.
Me and Mike.
Retro Studios.
Mike did a great Skype call, and I don't know, where did we leave that, Mike? I think you were gonna ask your team or something. I think I'm waiting to hear back from you. I think that's where we left it. But I love his wrestling game. We were talking about, he's using the pixel art right now, and we were talking about, maybe sprucing that up, and he agreed as well of. So yeah, we're in discussions. I think I'm waiting for him to get back to me though. Mike, I believe that's the case.
I'm going to do that right now in the chat of this live stream.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Big things
He
happen.
did say that he does owe you a pitch, Tommy.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, there you go. And Sean Dell is in the chat. I got to talk about positive vibes and a positive young fella. Sean Dell Rivers. I see him on all the videos, even on the hate-filled negative videos. You'll see Shondell, there saying, you know what, I like Intellivision and I like Atari and I hope they both do well. So I just got to give a shout out to Shondell because he doesn't get enough credit for going in all these ugly places and trying to spread a little joy and positivity. So thank you, Shondell. You're great.
We got to shout out the whole chat because it's so busy in here. We got 51 people watching right now.
Oh, damn.
Shout out to Radical Reggie. Shout out to Smash JT. Shout out to Saramaru. Shout out to Mikey B. Shout out to Jen Weston. Shout out to Anthium, Blair Farrell,
Will Ferrell.
Project Reindeer Games.
No, not Will Ferrell.
Shout out to Will Ferrell. Shout out to everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Blair Farrell rocks, man. That guy's as big into comic books and video games as you and I are, Tommy.
Really?
Oh, yeah?
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
That's crazy.
I
Awesome.
thought it froze for a second. Yeah, I was like, oh no, I thought it froze.
Yeah. What?
Mike, if you're listening right now, Mike, if we do this wrestling game together, I'm telling you right now, here and now, no deal unless we make Big Chocolate one of the wrestling games.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Chocolate.
Yes!
He's
I
got it.
want to
Dude.
Big Chocolate.
An Amico exclusive. Yes!
That's awesome.
My answer is yes.
Wow.
There's your DLC.
Dude, imagine that, dude.
That's your deal.
That's amazing.
That is awesome, man.
What's that?
What was that, Tommy?
To Victor Lucas, you want to control Big Chocolate, yes or no?
Hell yes, I do. I want all of these guys in that game. I think that'd be great.
Yes.
I think that'd be
I'll throw it to a
great.
table at least.
We got to make a sim TV show.
RetroSoft said, Mike said he'll only do it on Xbox.
Xbox exclusive.
Only
Big
Xbox.
Chucks.
It's not part of the deal. No, if we don't get it on Amico, that's got to be an Amico exclusive. folks.
We got to find a way to compromise, guys. Got to find a way to compromise. Hold on.
It'll get delayed. It'll get delayed.
Yo, everybody
It'll
wants
just get
Big
delayed.
Chuck
Now
on
he's
their
gonna-
console.
Yeah.
Your wrestling game with Phil Spencer and Tommy Tallarico just fighting it out.
yes,
yes. That would be amazing.
That's pretty cool.
That's
too.
awesome.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's a battle I'm not willing to watch, to partake in. That's a battle. Imagine Big Chocolate in your mind right now, body slamming me, getting up on the top rope, and coming down and landing on my. Talk about a flatbread Italian pizza. awesome.
That's what the move has to be called, the flatbread.
Yes, the flatbread.
From the top rope.
Yo, he hit him with the flatbread.
I want a Hurricane Rana from you.
Oh my God.
Do that too.
Oh, man.
My face hurts. I can't even.
You know how much joy that would be?
Yo, listen.
I would be in tears.
I'm here for it.
That sounds like an old EP segment.
Way to take it back.
That's right.
That's hilarious.
Mike Herman, we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been really fun to get back with Vic and tell old tales. I mean, we could do this for 5 more hours, I know.
Let's do it.
I wish you would.
Let's do it. We got plenty of beer in the fridge, and we're good.
That'll be on the charity telethon stream.
That's right. Tommy.
I do hope that everybody that's tuned in, though, has signed up to subscribe to this channel and is supporting Level 857 because these guys rock.
Thank you.
Yes.
And they're always gracious hosts. And
Get them over 1,000. Come on, what are we at now?
Oh,
970.
Let me check. We're at 969. We need like 31.
No, I thought we were at 972.
Oh, hold on.
972.
make that happen.
969. 969.
The level of passion that you guys have, and you know, the drive and the determination is all wonderful, and your love for our work is greatly appreciated. And this was really cool. And Tommy, we got to get together soon, my friend.
I know. Okay, it just went up to 971. Come on, guys. Right now, 971. Come on, you got to hit that subscribe. What are we at? 972.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Right,
Tell your friends, y'all. Tell everybody.
Yeah,
Text people.
Come on, 3 more people.
Back up to
Just
970.
subbed. What are we at?
Listen, if we get
Come
1,000,
on.
there's a prize. Just to let y'all know.
Yeah.
Just to let y'all
We
know.
do have a
Somebody's gonna get
prize.
something, man.
We have a giveaway.
We do have a
We've been
giveaway.
in talks of doing this, and
Is it one of your amico shirts?
It's a video game. It's a video game. It's Al's Amico shirt. He's giving it away. Can you believe that, Tommy? He's gonna give away your shirt.
Fake Drake. Dissing me.
oh man,
That's too funny.
974 subscribers.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need one
It's
more.
going up.
Yeah,
Keep
but
that
get it,
going.
man. Let's
Keep that
get
number
it.
going up. Try.
We need one more to make. Come on, let's do 975. One more person. Come on.
We're gonna need a raid, man.
Going twice.
you guys are awesome out there, man, for real.
For real.
I thank all
thank you
you
guys so
Thank you,
much.
We get there.
You know what?
976 on
Just
my
so-
screen right now.
Just so you guys know, Vic and Tommy, man, like if it wasn't for you guys, like your chemistry, like that's the model of our podcast, of our channel.
That's a big influence.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
a-
it's
we wouldn't be
a
here
huge
without you.
influence.
Inspiration.
I
there.
see a lot of myself in both of you guys. Like, the way you guys butt heads, and
We butt heads all the
we
time.
butt heads all the time. We like different games,
And
it's just-
Drake. And Drake.
And Odell Beckham over
But
there.
yeah, no, it's you guys are a big inspiration to us, and yeah,
Yeah,
we thank you for being, just a
Oh,
part.
thank you.
You know,
It means a
yeah,
lot.
that's very sweet. And you know what's so cool is like the world provides these opportunities for you guys to share your thoughts like this. Like it was a very expensive endeavor when Tommy and I started. It took a lot of people to build all this stuff, and now you can do things where it's very pure. It's just about your passion and just your drive. And we were able to keep that in our show that took a lot of moving parts to build, but you guys just have that innately, and you don't have any technological barriers. And I think honestly, just stay true to what you're building and what you're creating together, and just continue to have fun with it, man. That's the greatest reward in it, And who knows where this road takes you guys, but you're one up on a lot of people just by the fact that you get to do this all together. That's so cool.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Thank you
Appreciate
guys
that.
so much.
Very, very nice.
And I just updated, and we're at 977. So there you go.
All right.
Past our goal.
There we go.
All right, you guys. Thank you
Awesome.
for having me.
Thank you guys.
Thank
you
you.
guys again.
Thank you so much.
Take it easy.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, man.
That was a lot of fun.
That was amazing.
That was like that's like a fanboy moment.
Yeah,
That was straight up fanboy moment right there.
Yeah.
And it was
That's so awesome.
It's something that I'd never thought would. Honestly, I'd never thought that.
no, I mean, you think back to October when we first had Tommy on, and a week later we had Vic on. The fact that we had them both on at the same time, Deej. It's really crazy because their chemistry.
Yes.
And nothing they do is planned. It's just like an organic thing that happens, and that's how we do things here.
Yes.
Yeah.
On Level 857, whether we're doing the verses, whether we're doing Let's Plays, whether we're doing the podcast, everything's organic. Nothing we do is planned, except for like obviously the news topics and whatever topic we have. But
Our sponsors aren't planned.
Yeah. It's
Well, the technical stuff
it's
is planned, but
we get
everything
such-
else once
yeah.
The errors
once
aren't planned.
once we're recording or once we're live,
yeah.
it's really just that's it. And it's
Listen,
honestly,
but
you guys,
they were the first to do it.
Yeah.
Like, they were the first to take
yeah.
video games seriously to a level on television that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what the inspiration was. Like, okay,
Yeah.
my hobby is being considered something better than what people
Yes.
considered it, especially back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Now it's cool. Like now, video games are cool for
It's
people.
mainstream.
Back then, it was not.
It's crazy because you see how many people, like especially influencers on the internet, like King Batch just started a Call of Duty Twitch.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's on Twitch like all the time now. Paige, WWE wrestler, on Twitch all the time.
I grew up with this stuff.
Yeah, it's insane how many people are into it now. Like it's ridiculous.
Comic books,
Yeah, everything that was
considered.
considered.
It was like,
But it's like everybody is into it, but no one says they're into
everything
it.
that had a stigma attached to it back in the
Right.
day. Anime, video games,
All my
comic books,
hobbies.
everything,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that is all pop culture right
Action
now.
figures.
Yeah.
all that
It's
stuff is-
everything. Right
Yeah.
now.
This Marvel
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
people talk about.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. If I talked
Yeah.
about an Avengers movie 20 years ago, people would have been like,
Well, it wouldn't have been
Yeah,
that
yeah.
good.
Right?
20 years ago.
Well, 20 years
Blade.
ago.
Blade.
It was a dude with the bike.
fault,
Captain
my
America with the bike.
fault,
With the
my
fucking thing.
Let me,
Actually, no, it was
20,
the start.
27 years ago.
Actually,
27 years
X-Men,
ago.
Actually,
X-Men came out.
It's
of
still
it.
entertaining.
I
though.
forget my age. 20 years ago is not that bad.
No.
No, Blade was 20 years ago. Right?
Blade
No,
was
that
20 years ago.
That was 25 years.
25 years ago. I said Blade were good movies.
Yeah, Blade.
movies were good.
Now we're talking like 30 years ago.
Well, except for the third one.
Gucci-Goo.
Except for the
The third one was kind
No.
except for the third one.
of funny lines.
That was a little rough.
Gotta go back
But
now.
man, just to be able to have the technology to be able to talk to these guys and
Yes.
for them to even give us the time to come
Never
on here
even
and talk.
dreamed that would actually happen.
It's
No,
great,
man.
No. I'm actually still in the shock mode.
Same.
I thank alcohol for helping me actually realize what is happening, because it's not even the thing that's like, hey, we have guests. It's like the two of those guys are just like such a big influence to our channel.
Yes.
And we have so much respect for, and we were planning to go to E3 to meet up with them and do
This
something
year,
with
yeah.
them before the pandemic, and the
Yes,
fact that didn't happen, but the fact that they're on our show,
Blessing.
Yeah.
they're so busy, they're doing so much stuff, and the fact
Doing
that they,
big things.
they
Big
took
things.
they took time out to hang out with us
Yep.
Yeah.
is such an honor, and it's mind blowing. It's
Yeah.
mind blowing that they even did that. And
To be honest, I'm always mind blown with every guest that we have on our show.
Yeah.
I'm mind blown with the chat. Like the connection with
the-
everybody
the
from this
chat-
online stuff is just great.
yeah,
You guys are great.
shout
awesome.
out to the chat and
Yeah,
everybody
love
who's
you guys.
enjoying
Yeah,
the
the chat.
podcast. Thank you so much. That's so awesome.
Oh, and now that I get to talk about it, Radical Reggie was talking some
No, I read it, but the thing is, I read it and I didn't take it seriously.
'Cause he's not gonna
because
do
Reggie's
anything.
not gonna face me.
No,
Everyone knows Reggie's not gonna face me in Smash Bros.
Smash,
dear.
no.
If you haven't checked it out, we had Overthink Battleless, and you got to watch that.
Check out the channel.
Yeah,
Check out the Overthink.
Yes.
Overthink versus Stikz and BigChoco. Check that out on
Good
the channel.
matches. Good matches.
Shout out to them. Shout out to Overthink.
If there's
Shout out
anybody
to
out
Overthink
there,
for doing it.
Overthink being so gracious to be on the verses.
any Tetris players, please.
Yeah, y'all got challenges.
Come
Throw
on.
them my
Bell
way.
Algae.
The
I
chat
got
is
you.
open.
I got you.
Throw
Yeah,
it out
Tetris
way.
Tetris people,
Yes.
holla at Algie. Smash Brothers peeps, holla at me and Turb.
Yes.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z people holla at me on that.
And Street Fighter for him.
And Street Fighter.
Yeah.
right.
And
I mean,
Capcom versus whatever.
Marvel versus
Marvel versus
Capcom.
Same whatever the fuck that game is. Ain't nobody really played anymore.
Are you talking
dare
about
you.
3? You're talking about 3?
How dare you? Nobody plays Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Nah, better believe.
Oh,
I'll
Infinite,
still play
Infinite.
it.
Yeah, I haven't played it
Marvel
yet.
vs.
Better
Capcom
believe.
2, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, that's still popping.
We don't just do
really?
podcasts, y'all.
We play games.
We
really
play
we
games.
play good games. We about
do
that
live
life.
streams.
We that old school generation,
Yes.
so we get
Couch
down.
co-op.
We get down.
We ain't just
man.
gonna jump in a pit
Nah.
like over and over. Nah.
Yo, doesn't it blow your minds that like
We beat games too.
we can just
Sometimes.
contact Tommy and Victor, and they'll like respond to us.
Yeah,
that means you're down to earth, man.
It's mind blowing, but they're good dudes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. No matter how much money they have or what shows they have, they're good human beings. And they're willing to join the podcast like ours and just talk about games and have a good time with it.
Because it's a community.
Yeah,
and that's what's good about
positivity.
positivity, y'all.
Yeah.
I know the internet is all negative, but this is what's good about positivity.
Positive, man. Positive.
Things happen for positive people also.
Your game's not coming out, it's delayed. It's okay because they're working on it.
Yeah.
All right? The
Delay
backlog
is
is
a good thing.
real.
If it's
Work on
canceled-
your backlog.
If it's canceled, that's another story.
Yeah, if it's canceled, yeah, I get it. but it's like, come on, man. There's so many games out, so many dope things that are going on in the game industry. There's so many things. There's Spider-Man, there's Last of Us 1 and 2. That,
You know,
there's
it's crazy
so many
too.
games,
It's like,
man.
Also,
Delays are good.
It's okay to not like something. Also,
It's fine.
it just might not be for you.
But don't preach your hate in the chat.
Don't make everybody else have to hate
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
It's fine. You can
Not
not
everybody
like it.
has to
Somebody
follow
can like
your-
it.
Like, I can't stand the Kardashians. But do I watch and
How
preach
dare
hate?
you?
I don't preach hate. I don't care about them, so I don't watch them, and that's it.
They
That's
offer so
okay.
much. They offer so much.
That's okay.
They offer so
You
much.
know, it's just like,
Have you ever watched them?
no,
But
never.
but in terms of
can
the
tell.
in terms of the Amico though, you know, if there's any initial hate thrown at it, there's always initial hate thrown at any new console when it first comes out.
Definitely.
When's the last new console you can name?
That's-
Bro,
well,
Xbox?
That's true.
But
you
you
know-
that was a long time ago.
The Amico, to me, it makes a lot of sense because you know how all of us grew up with video games.
Yes.
We didn't start with Nintendo. We started with Atari, with the ColecoVision.
And there was no
I saw it
online.
on television.
And there was no online. It was playing with each other. That's what it was.
But we were
growing
young.
up. Yeah.
The games were basic, and you see how it progressed as we got older and stuff like that. You have a kid right now. Okay, you got Xbox Series X. You got the Switch.
You know what the main complaint is, though, when
What?
they say it's for kids? They say, oh, they want to play Fortnite. I'm like, some parents don't want their kids playing Fortnite.
Yeah, but how old are those kids?
Simple as that.
You know, like my daughter is not going to be a year till October. When she starts playing games, she'll be what, 4 or 5? I can't play. She's not going to be playing
That's
a
their
third or
argument.
3D game.
But exactly.
But you think of this. Think of it this way. What games have we played on the channel that are so, like, think of Overcooked. Think of, like, those primitive 2-button type of games. There's an audience, a huge audience
Tools
for that.
Up. We're playing
You know,
it
like
now.
Tools Up is like 2 buttons. There's
yeah.
still a huge audience for that.
Yes,
And there's
yes,
a big bulk of people who are intimidated by all the buttons, all the graphics, that are not even trying to mess with
That's
that
what
stuff
I'm
right
saying.
now.
It's like
So
when
the
you
Amigo
first-
pops out. It's like, hey, we got these co-op games that are so simple that even your mother, your father, or your 5-year-old can join in.
But the people doing these complaints are hardcore gamers, and they can handle 10 buttons. They can handle buttons on the back.
So
of the
stick to
controller.
your
But that's the
PS5,
story.
stick to your Xbox, and stick to your Switch.
And
Stay away
exactly.
from it then.
And that
But
goes
they
to
don't-
what I was
Don't
saying.
preach the hate. Don't preach
That
hate.
goes right back to what I was saying before. If it's not for you, it's not for you.
And
It's
let it
obviously
go.
not marketed
Let
to
it
you,
go.
so that's
Yeah.
it's not for you.
Listen,
Go to your Xbox. Go
I
to
didn't
your
buy a
PS4.
Virtual Boy because I didn't like it. You know, like if you don't like the
Migraine.
system,
Migraine.
if it's not a system
you
that's
had a
not for you,
seizure. No,
don't
it's not-
preach the hate about it.
I
Just
bet
say,
you that got less hate though, and that
No,
gave you
no.
migraines.
because there was no internet for that.
Right. No.
But it's like if it's not for you, just move on. Go to something that is
Yeah.
for you. But don't
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
on somebody's vision, somebody's passion, and the fact that they're trying to make something successful.
people
It's
wanna
like,
be
come on,
right.
man.
And
People
don't
wanna
hate
wish-
on it before you try it.
People want to
That's
wish
true, too.
failure.
Play
People want to wish failure and want to be right. And
How
Every-
about wishing
everybody-
success?
Exactly.
What's wrong with wishing success?
You can still be right.
Because they feel like other people's success takes away from theirs, but that's an illusion. It's a blatant lie.
Well,
There's enough winning to go around for everyone.
Oh, there's
There's-
enough
to
W's
relax.
to go around, man.
And
There's
everything,
W's.
everything doesn't have to be a million seller to be successful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the video game industry is big. There's room in it for, you know, a transitional system to kind of teach people. It gets families together and it gives young children
It's
a chance.
important.
Dude,
It gives
I
an
see-
intro to playing video games before they go on to playing something more
Absolutely.
complicated.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a need for that. We had that.
Yeah.
Kids don't have that right
Yeah,
now.
we grew up from the bare bones of the worst graphics possible, the worst sound. Sorry about that. And it just gradually increased. People that are like, 13, 14 years old, people who grew up with like the N64, that's their first thing. It's
Yes.
like, yeah, you think that's ugly. We go like
Yeah.
like you don't even know where it
Oh, yeah.
started from. It's like, and for me, the Amico is like, that's a good way of starting it over, but not being
But with
like
clean
starting
graphics.
it over.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
it's like
starting
with-
over, starting
with
over.
attractive
right.
graphics.
Yeah.
There was room for Mad Cats. There was room for Acct games, and those aren't even like good things, and they've been around for years.
Acct Games kind of brought it back though. They have their arcade system.
But like I'm saying, though, they were good enough to be successful in the slight area where they were.
And Mad Catz even turned it around too. They have the tournament edition Street Fighter controller.
Hey, listen, we talk shit so much. Chuck, we talk so much smack about the Xbox and the lack of games or whatever. But the funny thing is, I want it to succeed.
Yes.
I want all the systems to succeed.
Because you want State of Decay 3.
State of Decay 3.
A high level of success breeds a higher level of competition, which breeds a better game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Y'all want to pay $70 a game? You keep wanting one system.
Yeah, exactly. If there was one system that was the elite, like the top,
$100 a game,
you would get screwed over $100 a game easily at the least.
Yep.
So it's like competition is
good.
You need it. You need competition. I want Xbox to do good. I want PS5 to do good. I want Switch, or if they have a Switch 2 or whatever, I want all that to do good. I want a Sega console. like I want all these. I want choices. I want options. I want to, pick and choose, and that's good for the gaming industry,
Yeah, no, I think Amico will really succeed. I think it has a place in the industry.
Well,
So,
you have a
high hopes
passionate
for it.
person behind it. It's going to succeed, and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But it's going back to the fact that we've had Tommy Tallarico and Victor Lucas on our podcast is just I don't know for anybody out there, but it doesn't even feel like a real moment, to be honest. It's really crazy. It really is pretty crazy.
Somebody asked, do you remember when people rated game systems by 8-bit, 16-bit, and 32-bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, we remember when it was
teraflops now.
No,
no,
it was
not
megs.
even.
It was megs, right? Megabits.
No, it was.
Remember?
Megabit cut, yeah.
Spider was like what? 8
8
megs.
Megabit,
And he was like, holy shit, it's 8 megs.
Well, now it's resolution now.
No,
now it's a resolution.
But they would say it on the side of the box. We get mad
4K.
hyped.
No, what was it during the Master System days though? When a cartridge 1 megabit
Had
had
2-bit and 1
two
bit.
2 megabit or something like
Yeah,
that.
there's fake terminology.
Oh, the game's big.
It's funny because it's like explain what a bit is. Like what? Nobody can. answer that
Teraflops, man. It's
question.
about teraflops. You don't understand teraflops.
Teraflops.
12
Nobody does.
teraflops. You see the difference in Halo? No, you don't. No, you don't. 5 in the new one. Teraflops makes things smoother.
It does.
You read the chat about like PS5 and then
All things
Xbox Series.
I love Xbox. Man.
All things.
Xbox Series X, right? And then the PS5, and then people are. I saw a chat the other day
7X.
where people were like complaining about the Sony and stuff. They're like, yeah,
Of course they were.
it's an underpowered system and this and like it's. You saw the presentation, both presentations, right?
Not for nothing.
And it's like it doesn't. The
Comes down to
difference
the game.
is so minute.
It comes down
it's
to the
not
game.
going to be underpowered.
No.
First of all,
No.
with the exception of PlayStation 3, like PlayStation systems have knocked it out of the park on a consistent basis.
Yes.
So I don't know why everyone's worrying about it.
The gap is so small.
Mr. Xbox guy is admitting that Sony's going to knock it out of the park. You know what
There's
I mean?
no worry. There's no
Well, with their
worry.
franchises, it's
Xbox
already
You just
true.
worry about the fucking games. Do they have this every new system that's coming out? Do they have dope, fun games?
That's all that
Who
matters.
gives a shit about the graphics? Do they have
What's
dope, fun
crazy-
games?
What's crazy about this generation of new systems is the amount of games that they're showing before it's even released.
Right.
There's a lot.
You used to like
Yes.
maybe 4 or 5
Dude,
games
there is a lot.
for your release.
There's
and
a
this
lot.
is like a big window for
kinda
holiday,
think-
but they're showing so much.
There's a lot. There's
I
a
kind
lot.
of think there's too many though.
No, I know.
Well, there's
It's
been too many.
oversaturated.
There's been
But
too
there's
many
never
for the
been.
past couple of years.
Yes.
It's been too many.
Well,
It's
usually
way
you
too
see
many.
like 20 games tops at what they're
Yes.
pushing. Like, you got a
It's
sports game,
far
racing
beyond-
game, action game, whatever. But it's so much.
Like you can't even play all the games in a lifetime.
Nope.
Nah.
Oh, you could- you can sit down
Especially
and,
on the Switch.
On the pandemic, though. One day,
Not
one
even.
a day, one a day.
Nah, man.
One a day.
For real.
But let's get that wrestling game on the Amico.
Yeah.
Are you
We
kidding me?
We already
Yeah.
know what has to be done.
RetroSoft.
We know what has to be done.
Still in the chat.
RetroSoft.
He knows.
We already know what has to be done. now.
we gonna get it done. We gonna get it done.
This is for the Amico.
People want to see the flatbread.
This is for the Amico.
Yeah, the flatbread. That's
Yo.
hilarious.
And if he makes Chalk as a playable character, dude, I'll do a backflip off this couch. I probably won't succeed. I'll probably break my neck, but it's worth it.
It'll be recorded.
we will get it
Whatever
on the
happens
video.
is recorded,
Yo,
and it will go up.
only on the Amico, BigChoco,
And I'll tell you right now,
with the flatbread.
if I end up in that game and you guys do not put me through a table, you're doing yourselves a terrible mistake. Just saying.
The flatbread. That's an awesome finish.
You got the Legion of Doom. You got all these guys, and you have the flatbread. Big Chalk as a special DLC. People could be like, "Who the fuck is Big Chalk?" Like, what do you mean? Who the fuck is Big Chalk?
That's even funnier.
He's got that flatbread.
That's even funnier.
Oh, you didn't know?
The flatbread.
The lore, like you have to have a fucking awesome
bread.
backstory.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing.
Oh, the backstory is gonna
be amazing.
He wants special animation to flatten out people. Flatten them
flatbread all day.
Retro soft, man. We'll talk. Man.
Oh, he says he's on. He says he's working.
We got videos, man. We got
flatbread. That popping.
He said mocap and digitize that shit on the Amico.
Yo,
I'll do mocap.
You have to do a back. You have to successfully do a backflip.
All right, whatever.
We'll figure it out.
As long as I have something soft to land on.
I'll animate it, man.
I'll make it happen.
That was hilarious.
We'll fix it in post.
You know what the best part of the podcast was? Like, we had a plan of how it was gonna go, and it's like
nothing.
Nah, you know what? Fuck it. Let them talk, man. I don't even care what the format we had planned.
To be honest,
let them talk. Tell them stories. I don't even care. I don't even care.
Well, it is what it is.
Well, we did have some technical issues also, which is that added to the whole thing too.
But it is what it is. People, as long as y'all enjoy the show, that's all we care about.
All that matters.
Everyone, dude, I felt like I was in the audience. I'm like, y'all just keep talking. I just want to hear the stories, man.
No, it's fascinating to hear them talk. It really is. It's
awesome,
like Jesus, man. It's like
they already knew they were gonna take over the show.
They knew
they were gonna take over.
That's fine.
They actually warned us too. They were like, "Yeah, you might have to."
The butt end a few times.
I'm like, "Oh
it's
shit!"
like, man, I ain't gonna butt in. Y'all just talk, man.
Y'all telling the stories. They ain't interrupting your stories. That's why you're here.
I'm telling you, that's the goal, man. I want a live podcast. I don't care where it is. I want the two of them in person and just talk some shit, just like we were supposed to be in E3. You know what? They need to come. They need to come through to my 40th for Vegas. That's what they need to do. We need to get that popping.
My 40th. Our birthday is in the same month.
Let's do it, man. Man, we gonna
23rd Stallion. LG857. Our birthday's on the same month.
Yep, that's right. Next year.
Next year, man.
Yep, that's right. We need
40th.
We need Vic. And
gotta
we need
do it.
Tommy up in there.
They're all for this character. Man.
Yo, seriously, like I'm loving the support.
All into this.
I'm loving the support from the chat.
Big
Like,
Chat is all into this character.
Who's not gonna pick Big Chalk?
Yo, you got the
let's be
CEO of
honest.
fucking Intellivision, man.
Who's not going to pick Big Chalk?
Listen,
Yo, that's
you gotta get
crazy.
gotta be Big Choco versus Mark Henry. You gotta make that happen.
Dude, yo.
Down.
Bro.
He's contract.
Bro. You throw a game controller.
As long as he puts me through a table, hits me off a ladder, I'm with it.
If it's on Xbox, you have a game
Chalk
controller.
needs to be in this game. Like,
For real.
On the Amico, exclusive, yo. Like, seriously.
Oh man.
That has to happen.
That's
Look
freaking
at Chalk's
awesome, man.
hands going right now. He's working at Magic. He's like, yo, let me get that. Get that sledgehammer. Let me
The
get that
flat
sledgehammer.
bread. That's the
flat
best
bread,
move
man.
ever.
Like I said, though, we appreciate y'all chat,
We definitely appreciate the chat, man.
Yeah,
We
y'all
definitely
y'all
appreciate
been
the
awesome, man.
chat
and we'll definitely be hitting y'all with new episodes every week.
all the
If you
time.
want to tell them when?
All the time.
Not all the time.
Every day.
All the
7:30
time. Every second. We got
7:30.
I can click
p.m.
old episodes anytime.
No.
Wait,
Anytime.
Every
Guys,
week
guys.
we have a podcast live broadcast every week, Wednesday,
7:30
7:30 p.m. Eastern time. When
Eastern.
there's no technical issues. 7:30 p.m. Eastern
That's
time.
the plan time.
Yo, the programs be working up against us.
Hold on, what's going on?
Uh-oh, hold on.
Jamie Andrews in the chat.
Oh, Jimmy.
Big Chocolate Unlockable and the Tony Hawk remaster with the Flatbread 900 skateboard.
Oh,
Yo!
Yo!
I've never skateboarded a day
Yeah.
in my life.
Yo, I
Not
like
really.
that.
That's why you got to be in it.
I'm looking
Yes.
forward to that game, by the way.
I
But
like it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
Yo,
looking
hold
forward
up,
to that.
guys. We still didn't do our giveaway.
Oh shit, you're right. Yes.
Yeah,
Did
yes.
we hit 1,000 yet?
No, but we gotta do it anyway.
I gotta
All
get
right.
fat.
But anyway,
we'll be
Listen, we still got you guys live, so hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe
all we
button.
need is 21 more.
If you haven't
to
hit
hit
that
1,000.
subscribe button, just hit that
I'm
button
still
now.
doing the giveaway.
Because we have a
Oh, we're still gonna
giveaway.
do it. Yeah, we're gonna do
We have a
What
giveaway.
are we giving away?
there's a game.
There's a game
There's a key
giveaway.
code.
You want me to tell them? You want me to tell them what it is?
Well, who's gonna win it?
We gotta find out.
Wait. Are we gonna do a question? Are we gonna do what we gonna do?
No, we're gonna get that 1,000.
So we can win. He said, "Nah, we're gonna get that 1,000."
We're gonna get
Yo,
that
he
1,000.
holding it hostage.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
Yo,
I'm
he
holding
holding
this high.
the prize.
This podcast ain't over until we can.
Damn.
So are we doing it
No,
for the
joking,
1,000
joking.
person again, or what? What are you
No,
trying to be
I don't
David
know. I'm
Chappelle?
just joking. I'm just
What are you
joking.
doing?
Hold
Shit.
on. I'm gonna check it right now. What we got?
I don't know.
We at like, are we in the
979.
80s yet?
Nah,
979.
we're about to hit that.
79. We 81. I mean 21 more. I said 81.
Okay.
21 more. But that's, I don't know. We I don't know if that's gonna happen. So
I don't know, man.
We gotta get
Let's leave it to the chat. What do y'all want to do? Y'all want to do a giveaway now? Y'all want to wait for this magical 1,000?
Yeah, what's good?
Yeah, that's a good question. I like that.
For everybody
That
who's
is a
in the
good question.
chat that did not subscribe to the channel, man. We mad close to 1,000.
Don't unsubscribe and resubscribe. You'll
Don't
knock
you
our
want-
number down and
Yeah, don't you want to see us? Don't you want to see us
Sign in with
succeed?
your other Gmail and do it.
Oh, Jesus.
That's
This
how
is
you
funny.
do it.
What's up with the burner account? Y'all ain't got no
Yo,
burner account.
yo, how does this turn into a telethon?
It definitely did.
To a
It
fucking
definitely did.
telethon, yo. For 2 cents a day. You can
Two texts. All you gotta do is send out 2
For
texts
a
each
penny.
and tell them to sign up.
Right?
See that? Wait, they said wait till 1,000. They said wait till 1,000.
wait till
Yeah,
1,000.
it's
Okay.
wait till
1,000. We'll
Okay.
wait till 1,000.
I
Almost
respect it.
there. Almost there.
We'll wait to 1,000, man.
Maybe next show. Maybe tomorrow.
All right,
Who knows?
yeah,
Maybe
it
might
tonight.
happen.
though. We'll
One
come
of
back
these
on.
ways to
Go
If
sleep,
we hit
wake up.
1,000 tonight, we'll go back on live and then we'll give it something.
Yeah, man.
No.
Oh, no,
we're
no,
not
no,
doing that.
no.
Not all of us. One of us can get on.
No, we're not doing
What?
that.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Whoa,
Break
whoa,
us.
whoa,
We'll
whoa,
wait till
whoa,
Wednesday.
It's
whoa,
definitely
whoa,
not
whoa.
happening.
We'll wait till Wednesday.
About that, man.
We'll wait till Wednesday.
Fine.
So yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already,
right.
and follow us on all the social media, so you can keep up with all the stuff like the giveaway that we're gonna do for the 1,000, but also other surprise giveaways that we have planned.
That's right.
Or
There's
unplanned.
more than just that.
They're just
There's
random.
We
more
got
than
lap
just that.
dances planned. You
random.
never
Whoa,
know.
hey,
One of us,
easy,
one
really?
of us randomly will give y'all.
Yo,
a
this
lap
ain't-
dance.
nah,
Yeah.
this-
Yeah.
What?
No?
What? This
Wrong
ain't the wrong
website.
channel,
No,
man.
no.
Wrong
Wrong
website,
channel,
bro.
man.
No, that's
Wrong
not
website.
the thing.
Nope.
That's not the. My
Nope.
bad.
This
But if
ain't-
you want to watch us live, you can do so every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.
That's right.
And if you listen to the podcast, you can do it on all the podcasting services like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and all that good stuff.
That's right.
Until next week, y'all. We actually have a cool guest next week.
Damn right.
We
So
have cool
tune in.
guests every week, just about.
Well,
We
Even
always
if
have
we're
good
on the
guests.
show, we're on the show.
We're a guest on the
Hey,
podcast.
all that matters is that we're here, so you got
Yeah,
y'all
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
show up.
you'll just know
You know what
that
I'm
we're
saying?
going to be here Wednesday, all right?
You guys just
so
gotta
tune
be
in.
here.
Just tune in next week.
Exactly.
7
Until
p.m.
then. Until then.
Next week, 7 p.m., right?
Chat was on fire.
7:30 p.m.
Thank
No,
you,
next week's the
everybody.
Next week is 7
Yep.
p.m.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Next week
7
is 7
p.m. Yes.
Shout out to
Sorry.
Tommy Tallarico and Victor Lucas
Yes.
for coming
Thank
by.
you.
Yes,
Making our
thank
dreams
you.
come
Awesome.
true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, chat. We
Thank
love
you,
you.
Till
everybody
next
out
time.
there. Thank
Time
you
for
so
some
much,
wings
man.
and beer
And
Yes.
some flatbread.
and flatbread all day.
Flatbread. What?
Flatbread.
Flatbread for real?
Till next time.
All right. All right. Peace.